Did it again.
Get it.
Get it, Galen. All right, here we go. What's going on, everybody? Cali Death Podcast back once again, episode 218. I actually had to double take that. I almost forgot what episode it was. I'm your host, Anthony Trapney. As always, I got a resident homie with me tonight, Joel Horner. What up, dude?
What up?
We'll see Casey later on. And tonight we're joined by Monte Barnard from Emberthrone. What's going on, Monte?
Hey man, that intro is so sick. I always forget how awesome that is. It's really good.
Yeah,
really
dude.
sick. Happy to be here for lucky number 218.
Yeah, dude, no doubt. Shout out to Chris Beatty from the Zenith Passage for that intro. I mean, we've said it many a times, dude. It was just perfect. As soon as he sent it to us, we knew exactly that was the intro, dude.
Hell yeah, he's the man.
And we still get people asking, like, there he is, what up? Everybody, we still get people randomly commenting, like, who is this? Who is? And at the end of the intro, if you pay attention, we give him his credit. Chris Beatty at the very end of the video. So
the trippy part is how fast he did that. How he just sent it over, just fucked around and just sent it over. Just like
back in just a little ditty. Yeah, just a little, just something he whipped up on a Tuesday or something, right?
So like when I
no big deal.
When I think of Cali, I think of this real quick. All right, send it over.
Yeah, a little decrepit, a little spawn of possession. I guess. Here we go.
A little bit of
I guess this works. Yeah, a little bit of deeds. Yeah,
some deeds.
Here we go.
And then we'll have Joseph program some drums over it, and boom.
Yeah, those dudes are a hoot, man. When prior to fatherhood, the Zenith guys would crash at my place most times after they played Portland. So it was always a good time hanging out with those dudes, getting to know Chris. Oh, yeah. He's a shredder. He fits that band great. I'm stoked for Justin and all their success, man. They're absolutely killing it.
Most definitely, 100%. Dude. I mean, we all remember when that album dropped. Everybody was, flipping their lid over it, dude, and it makes sense why, because that is a beast of an album, and that's a beast of a band, and they're all super chill dudes.
And to take influence from polka and turn that into tech metal, like, if you listen to that shit, if you really break it down, it's like a lot of it's polka. It's like,
yeah.
I was smoking weed with somebody who wasn't really into tech death. I forget who it was, but I was blasting the Zenith Passage, and he's just like, yo, dude, this is polka music. And I was like, wait a second. And then, 6 Reddit rabbit holes later, and, trying to, Rick Beato this shit. Figure out, like, oh my God, it is. Justin, you clever bitch.
Awesome. Yeah, dude. Rad as shit. All right. Well, let's kick off some plugs real quick. Oh, I'm not ready for that. Oh, there you go. What up? Battleforge Coffee. I got a resident homie with me to help me out. BattleforgeCoffee.com. Speaking of California death metal pioneers, Deeds of Flesh, they put that company together, and we've been plugging it ever since because it's quality stuff and it's the homies, dude. I mean, anytime somebody starts an independent company from the underground death metal scene and it's quality, you should be putting your money in that direction, guys. So
yeah,
I got a quick story. Hell yeah. I have a quick story too. So I talked to Mike Hamilton a couple days ago because his account.
Dad? How's Dad? How is Dad?
So Dad. Well, there's a thing that was like posted on his Facebook that like, oh, he was in a car accident or something. I'm like, what the fuck? And then there was like a link below, and then it was like fully just like scammer. Someone just hacked it. I was like, that's a fucked up technique, dude. Just go like, oh fucking. And I just called him, and he's like, no, I'm all good. I just saw that. I'm gonna take it down. And I'm like, dude, that's
scammers are getting desperate. Jesus Christ, man. Brutal.
When you see that like on a friend or anything, when it's like regarding someone your heart just sinks. And I had that whole thing, and I was like, just called immediately. I was like, I think this is bullshit, but I'm gonna call just in case. And luckily he's on tour with Exodus and a bunch of shit right now, a bunch of bands right now. But yeah. So anyways, he's doing good. Just you know. He's fine.
My dad is okay.
Dad's
Dad is
good.
still flourishing.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, go over there, buy your coffee from them, guys. I've had it many a times. If you know the show long enough, then you know I am a coffee head. So I wouldn't be pushing something that I don't back. So for sure, go get your stuff from battleforgecoffee.com.
I know where I'm getting my next bag.
Oh yeah, dude. And they got some sick shirts and shit too. Like, cause like growing up in the death metal scene, buying a band shirt, most likely it's on a shitty Gildan,
Oh,
and no, their shirt is one of the most comfortable t-shirts. It's actually a good PJ shirt.
I love it when bands do that. Make like
for my wife to feel awesome. Great.
Yeah, dude.
She has run of the litter in my closet, just black shirts, and she's like, what old school death metal shirt that my husband should I what old school first run Morbid Angel shirt should I just sleep in?
Should I fart in all night?
Do you guys ever get the holes in the armpits, dude, of all your old shirts? I fucking hate that.
Some of the old ones, yeah.
And I always am like, babe, will you fix this for me? And she's like, yeah, I'll fix it. But then we never get around to it, and the hole gets bigger. And but
I used to buy another one,
I know, and back in the day, I would just turn it into a cutoff. But fuck a cutoff shirt; it's so cheesy now, dude.
Yeah, the cutoff shirt, being a man of a certain age, it's like you gotta be in a real sick band or like working construction. But if you're just like going down to get like a smoothie with your kids or something, wearing a cutoff suffocation t-shirt, I mean that's a vibe, dude. But hey, more power to you.
That's a specific vibe. Definitely, it's kind of a move, dude. Actually, now that I think about it, going to get a smoothie and a cut off suffo. Come on now,
hard.
I actually think I want to be that guy's friend now. I won't wear the cutoffs with him, but he might be a cool friend.
I mean, I'll tell him about my band. I'll definitely be like, "Yo, check this out."
He'll buy. He'll be like, "Dude, I'll buy your CDs. Dude. What's going on?" Well, fucking down, dude.
There you go.
We make shirts you can cut the sleeves off of, dude. Just fucking
there you go.
Hit up fucking Emberthrone bandcamp.bandcamp.com.
Whatever the fuck it is. I think that's still up. We got a big cartel going up soon, so I'll plug that maybe when I have the URL dialed. We just got back from a run of shows, and I have a bunch of merch I got to put online. So
hell yeah.
Cutoffs. They look great as cutoffs.
Oh yeah.
And crop tops, whatever you want.
Ooh, crops. Yeah, baby.
No one ever mentions that one black metal dude from like Mayhem, behind the black metal like dungeon thing, that famous Mayhem picture. Dude's just like rocking a crop top, like it's like sick as fuck.
That was way more acceptable in the 80s and 90s metal scene.
Yeah.
Crop top for sure.
The Euronymous, right? It's like the kid who killed himself. Yeah, he's hard as fuck, dude. Yes, I know that picture you're talking about. He's wearing like a leather jacket with like a crop top underneath it.
I hate to be black metal guy, but it wasn't Euronymous who killed him.
It wasn't.
No.
Oh, sorry. Who was it?
Dead, the vocalist. Yeah.
Duh. Sorry.
Euronymous got killed by Varg.
You're right. Yeah. There you go. There we go.
He's still the one in the picture, right?
In the bootleg cover, where
the one where he's like sitting there just with his like chest out, and he's got the cut off shirt and the black metal.
That might be him. I thought you were talking about the one where it's their bootleg album. Where after
with his head shot off.
Yeah.
Black metal fashion talk here on the Cali Death podcast.
Just like Cali Death, before 10 minutes, we're already talking about suicide. All right.
I appreciate you calling me out though, because and was us discussing that, because I would have gotten demolished in the chat or in the comment section.
I know you're an Oregon dude. Oregon would fucking destroy you.
I'm not going to
actually. There's probably some pretty depressive black metal bands that come out of that area.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of good shit. Like Leviathan is up here. Uada is not necessarily depressive black metal, but like the Wolves in the Throne Room guys are just from up the way in Washington. I know I'm forgetting a shit ton. Meesmore is from here, I think. There's a lot of great black metal from Portland for sure.
I mean it obviously has to do with weather conditions, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like if you think about where all like the real like black metal shit comes out of, their winters suck, they barely get sun, You know, it's a death metal, excuse me. Black metal is the product of a lack of vitamin D, guys. That's literally what it is, dude.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. See, I have a theory about this. I'm glad you brought this up because I've had a theory about this for years, that you're right. Black metal, the lack of vitamin D, the shitty weather, the long winters, they're inside keeping warm. There's nothing to do but just shred and just practice your guitar before the internet, right? Like, I guess I'm just get really good and play really fast and, you know, blast my ass off. And the winter moon is depressing. Now, death metal, on the other hand, is the opposite. It's Florida. It's more sound, right? And so you got to be inside all the time because you can't be outside, but it's a different reason because it's hot as fuck and you got to be in the AC. But you got the sun, you got tits around, you got butts around, you got people. So there's a different vibe. You can see but at the end of the day, both genres were born out of the need to stay inside. So,
whoa, dude, you're making me even think about this deeper. So the need to be inside, right? But how you think of what's outside of that box that you're in. So if you're in the places that we're talking about where it's less vitamin D, you know, the weather conditions can actually fucking take your life, you know.
Yeah, dude.
You end up being in this little box and kind of hating everything around that box because it's all trying to get you.
Yeah.
But in an example like the dudes in Florida or any other hot spot that they're death metal, they have to get inside because of the AC. All they're wanting to do, they're waiting to get outside. They're waiting to see the flesh. They can go outside, dude.
They want to see the flesh, dude. It's all out there.
So they're hating the box that they're in, wanting to be outside of it, and it's vice versa.
We've cracked the code.
Wow, look at us, dude.
Making big strides today on episode 218. Fuck
yeah. I enjoy both sides of the coin there too. You know,
ditto.
I can definitely get into a place where I need some fucking depressive fucking lack of vitamin D metal, dude. For sure.
Yeah, man. I can dig it. Yeah, it's just starting to get nice outside. It's like it's that time of year in Portland that I say that we all kind of are reminded why we live here, because the rest of the year it's like there's like 5 months out of the year it's like fucking Valhalla, and the rest of it's just like mono cloud, no end, no beginning, gray. And then you look outside and like, oh, I might be able to go outside, and then you walk outside and then it pours on you, and then you come back in and then you look out and it's sunny or something, you know. It's the uncertainty that kills you here. So I don't know, take that as you will with what kind of music we make up here. I think we all just get stoned and write high on fire riffs, but you know,
that's cool too, dude.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
We never actually got into our second plug. Let's do that one real quick. What is it? GeneratorRehearsalStudios.com. Yes, those are our buddies down in SoCal area, Oceanside specific. Ben, Casey, he's not a part of it, but he's always there, and you'll run into some other dudes. But yeah, if you're looking for a place to jam and you're near the Oceanside area, we would appreciate you guys going to check out Generator Rehearsal Studios, and go to GeneratorRehearsalStudios.com for all your information regarding that place. All right,
sweet.
And for you, I'm gonna plug a cat. I'm gonna plug Sagan.
Yeah, Sagan. Shout out Sagan.
Shout out Sagan. What up? Where's he at? Is he in there with you?
No, he's in the main house.
He's in the main house. Look at this guy, dude.
Big.
Not main house. It's not a big
damn dude
for footage. But it's
he's in your west wing. Fuck,
dude. Yeah, actually, it's west. Yeah, he's over on the west side over here.
There you go. hit him on the intercom.
I was thinking of like, this is like when I was getting grandiose about this little property we have. I was all, I want to get like a tube. Just like put it from like place to place that he could like just tube around.
That would be,
you know,
sick.
Tight,
I know.
Tight.
And I was like,
I mean,
that's a lot of work for a cat just to go to a different wing. But you know?
I've seen some setups like that. People go all crazy with like it. Like,
oh, I've seen them too.
It's a glorified like hamster type deal, but it's for their cats.
Yeah, those tunnels. You know? Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Like a Rube Goldberg machine, like the cat walks by something and hits something and it breaks something else, and then your coffee starts or something for the morning. You know, get it dialed.
What are those?
Every night you gotta set it up.
Rube Goldberg machine or something like that. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, but I just think of it as the Pee Wee Herman house.
Yeah, dude.
Imagine,
Like
imagine
Sega.
that was like your chores are like resetting that thing up every night. Like,
Yeah.
like getting the marble back up there and like making sure all the dominoes are.
Soon, babe. I got 3 more hours of this shit.
You're like stacking more. It's like,
is it worth it? No.
Hey,
3 times.
I made a horrible.
actually,
3
dude,
times.
for it to be a success, I think it would be worth it. You know.
There you go.
Daily though, dude, you go. That would put you in a mental institution if you had to do that daily, like setting up like those fucking dominoes every time. You just go like after a hard day at work, you just be like shaking, like fucking, and then you knock it over on accident, have to start all over again. Yeah, you break
where am I gonna find
a?
Where am I gonna find a canary, half a can of Coca-Cola, and half a chess set? Like what?
Yeah, fuck,
shit. That's hilarious.
That would be hilarious to come home and see Sagan coming across in a tube that from building to building. You're like, all right, dude, he's on the run right now.
Tubular.
There you go.
Monty, where you want people to go for everything Emberthrone?
Oh, that's a great question. Google, I guess. Just Google Emberthrone. Everything should come up. We're on Spotify. You know, our label has distribution. So if it's something wherever you listen to your music, so I'm sure we'll be on there on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. Check it out. We put out like a visualizer dealy bob for our latest single. That came out a few weeks ago, and then the new record's coming out in July. So we're going to be putting out little bits of content here and there, little kind of sneak previews of behind the scenes. I'm going to do some vocal playthroughs, some guitar playthroughs. You know how it is. You got to feed the fucking content machine, and Lord, how I hate doing it, but you know, part of the job, I guess, right?
Totally, 100%. Dude.
People are like, "Cool, this is sick for a week, dude. What do you got next?"
I know. That's literally that.
If you're lucky, man. If you're lucky.
Oh yeah, a week is actually a long time.
Nowadays.
And it's just
TikTok, dude. All right, we got the gist. All right, next. It's like,
seriously.
It's pretty shitty though.
Yeah, it's like I heard the album, dude. I heard their TikTok.
Yeah.
It's like one video. It's all quick, like let's go through it all quick. Just like give them. I saw the song.
Yeah, I saw the little breakdown snippet on your TikTok. That one cool thing you did in that one song, that was cool. And then I moved on to a video about a cat going through a Rube Goldberg machine.
Dude, I was on that cat. I showed it to all my friends. I didn't show your video, but I showed a cat.
Yeah,
the cat one just made it. It's huge now. The cat's
Emberthrone's okay, but this cat, dude, you got to check this cat out.
So that's what the multi-sequence thing is called, a Rube Goldberg machine,
something like that. Yeah, I think I'm probably pronouncing it wrong.
I was trying to remember what those things were called earlier when we were talking about it, but now you just sparked it up again.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, man. Yeah, if you want to check out Emberthrone, just use the series of tubes that is the internet. Just Google us. We're on the Instagrams and the Facebooks and all that shit. Yeah.
Nice, dude. Well, yeah, we heard about the band a long time ago because when Gabe was on, he was drumming in the band.
Yeah,
so that was the first mention of the band on the show, which was quite some time ago. I mean, Gabe's episode was.
It's probably a year and a half ago. Was it? When did your guys' album drop? Or
that first one came out in like 22, I think.
Okay,
sometime in 22. Yeah.
Time is flying.
Yeah, love me some Gabe, but as everyone knows, Gabe is the busiest drummer in music. And honestly, just the fact that he's not doing this next one with us was just the fact that we couldn't line up schedules. That's really it. And he was, he wanted to do it, and we were going back and forth and trying to. It was honestly just a matter of getting him in a room with our guitar player Martin and working out, dialing things in. And I'm sure he could have done it just on the pre-pro and on the demos and kind of added a spiel to it. But Martin likes to be a little more hands-on and kind of work through things and, find some organic ideas that can kind of bubble up in the actual rehearsal space, kind of get that last 10% of the songs where, ooh, this little thing, or you did that, and that gave me this idea. So I can go back to the drawing board a little bit. And wanted to have that. So instead, we were lucky enough to lock down Andrew Baird previously of Fallujah, and now he's playing in All Shall Perish and a couple other Exuvial and a couple other projects he has. But Andrew's a fucking just amazing human being, and amazing amazing
he's
drummer.
Also a previous guest of ours and was totally fucking awesome.
He's the man.
Yeah,
him and I go way back, dude. So
it was a
no-brainer.
He's one thing I love about him, and I still communicate with him every now and then. It's just like, he actually like one of the few. I mean, I wouldn't say few people, but I would say like the amount of caring that guy has for like if you're stressed or something's going on is like next. Like that guy gives a shit about his friends. That's like one of like the most caring people. He just wants to make sure everyone's good. He's been through a lot, so he's kind of like on what he's learned, he's down to like talk to you about it and like help out. And I'm like always respected him on that. He's always been very warm. He's a very warm person.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to Andrew 1,000%, man. I think the first time I saw Andrew play, like I was 18 and he was probably 16, and it was at a VFW hall. My band at the time opened for Fallujah in Sacramento. And it was when Alex Hoffman was playing guitar for Fallujah. So they had a difference. So this is it's like their third show ever, if something like that. And they blew us away, and we just became fast friends. And fast forward to now, I was like, I would be silly not to ask Andrew. And again, he's the homie, so he absolutely knocked it out of the park with this release. So we're working on a full length now for later down the road. Obviously, I need to push the EP that's coming out in July, but in the future, the full length that we'll be working on, we already are working on. I don't know who we're gonna work with drum wise if the schedules work out. Love me some Gabe, love me some Andrew. They're both homies. Owe them both the world. So anyway,
and both stellar musicians too.
Yeah, fucking A. Just this. We were saying like we've just been spoiled with drummers. We got our buddy Justin from Wastewalker to fill in on drums for us for this little 4-banger we just did. And love Justin. He's a killer drummer. But it's like, having to learn Andrew Baird's parts and learn Gabe's parts is just like, it took him a minute because he's human and it's just, gnarly. But we were kind of like, we had to take a step back and be like, we've been really spoiled with drummers, and we're throwing a lot at Justin because he had to learn his Wastewalker set and our set and did double duty back to back every night. But he absolutely killed it. So, again, Justin, Andrew, and Gabe, we've been absolutely spoiled. Northern California has no shortage of I should say no shortage because there's always a shortage of good drummers. Hence why Gabe is in 19 bands. But I guess
they're just really nice. I don't know. They're like, yeah, I'll do that. You're like, really? Fuck.
Do we know a drummer of that caliber? Oh, Mike Hamilton. He'll only stay in one project when he's drumming.
That's smart.
He will only play with one band when he's playing. So
there's a lot of people that like Gabe and stuff that have put their like I've known Gabe forever too. I've been hanging out with him since probably 2009 or something like that, 10 when he was a kid. Because I moved to Sacramento in 2010. So that a year before that, we were like, he was coming to shows, we were hanging out. I'd go out to Sacramento and hang out with him, and actually ended up moving there. And I wanted to get to that too because when I think of your name, I've heard your name a million times, and it was because of the Sacramento scene that I heard your name, and you were involved with all these Sacramento bands, and I had never met you, but and now hearing the whole Portland thing, I didn't know the link between Portland and Sacramento was kind of, because I thought you were in Sacramento. I thought you were a Sacramento person.
I lived in Sac for a long time.
You did? Okay.
Yeah, I moved up to Portland in 14.
Gotcha.
And you may have heard I'm often referred to as Gomer in Sacramento.
I think I have.
If that that's kind of a hard. I guess Monty is kind of a rare name too, but Gomer's even fucking more. Right. That's a long story.
Is it Full Metal Jacket?
No, it's I guess it's not that long of a story. I'll divulge real quick. A band I was in Sacramento, we got a drummer and his name was Monty, and we were just like, whoa, two Montys in one band. And Martin, who you guys have met, I think he did on the first EP promo schedule. I think he was on the show with you guys. Anyway, he was like, well, are you Montgomery or Monty? And the other drummer said, Monty. I'm just Monty. And my name's Montgomery. So he was like, Montgomery, Gomer, you're Gomer now. And then he's like, you know, he did it in jest because Martin's hilarious and God love him. But like, so everyone whips out their phone and changes me to Gomer in their phone. And then like, I literally played a show in Sacramento, like, dude, in front of my, I was like, oh, God damn it. You know, bringing chicks around shows and people being like, Gomer. And she's like, who's Gomer?
That's like the opposite of that is Gorgasm. It's like Damien and Tom. No, Damien, you're also going to be Tom. That's Big Tom and Little Tom for the longest time, dude.
That's rough. That's rough, man.
But his name is Damien.
Dude, I literally played a show in Sacramento like a week ago.
Yeah, I saw
25.
Sir Eric. And I saw Sir Eric. I always have because obviously, you know, Protect Sir Eric, like that's like the stay at every metal show in Sacramento. And
man, he's the man.
Every time he was going live when you guys were playing, and I was like taking a dump or something. That's when I go on that's when I go on social media nowadays. And I was like going like, fuck yeah, and just watched a little bit of you guys' set, and I was like, fuck
thanks, man.
Yeah, it was rad. I got to see he posts like everything, and then like I remember there'd be like some people, you know, like ex-girlfriend or something I didn't want to see at the show, and I would miss a show. And Sir Eric would just take a picture with everyone in the show, and I'd be like, "Yep, she was there. Thank God."
Full roll call. Yeah. Thank you to Sir Eric.
It is,
but yeah, dude. And I'm just to put a pin in that, man. Like, I got called Gomer like at the show. Someone was like, somebody introduced me to his wife. My buddy Skylar introduced me to his wife as Gomer, and I was like, bro, fuck. I thought it was dead. Man. But it lives on anyway.
Once Joel brought up watching live footage while taking a shit, I started to just see like a crowd of people sitting on toilets at a live show because you're so used to shitting while you're watching it that you have to
go. That sounds like a nightmare I had once, man.
Have you guys had one of those recently where you're naked in public or something? I've definitely had
a dream like that.
Oh, Casey's in. What up?
Casey's in a hot tub down in the corner.
Sick, dude. This guy's got it made, dude. This guy's living the dream. We were just talking about dreams. You are living the dream, man.
How's it going? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Nice.
Look at dude. What an epic intro, dude. Just like.
Did you just wake up?
Yeah.
In the hot tub?
Pretty much.
I dig it, man.
How's it feeling?
Good. I had to turn off the jets because they were like super loud. I'm not going to hear these guys. So, you know.
That's such a San Diego
It would have been funnier if you came on with the jets on, though. That would have been funny.
It's like, what up, dude?
Just derail the episode. I love it, man.
Yeah, continue. Nice. Don't mind me.
Yeah, I mean, what is he coming in on? He's coming in on me being like, have you guys ever had naked dreams recently in your life?
And then he's just in a hot tub. Have you ever been in a dream in a hot tub? But anyways, no, I've had like my dreams will pretty much revolve around like nightmares. There's still to this day will be like, I have to play the show with Deicide random last second, and I have like there's one band playing, and then I have to go and I have to learn all the songs. And then I go up there and I'm like, can't find my bass, and we're in a car trying to find my bass or guitar or whatever the fuck I'm doing at that point. And like I have to go find the instrument, and then like a cable's not working, and then like it's always that still haunts me. Like, and I'm 40 and it's still there.
Dude, I'm the same way. I'm the same way, dude. I don't know what I think anybody who's played in the band can like that'll linger with you for years. Like it's just I had one that really stuck out that I was on stage with Metallica, and I didn't know how to play Master of Puppets, and I get literally in front of like this giant crowd, and I can remember it clear as day, like Kirk Hammett looking at me being like, what the fuck, dude?
I'm like, doing it during the song, dude.
Yeah, I can in the dream I can play the beginning of the song, and then as it gets gone, I'm like, wait, how does it go? I don't even fucking play guitar anymore.
How many times
like,
does this go? Shit.
Yeah, you know. I haven't played guitar on stage in, I don't know, 15 years. So it's like,
Well, here you go, Metallica. Here's the guitar.
Yeah.
Go.
I don't think that shit's going anywhere anytime soon, dude. I think that's stuck with us.
It's never been with a band that it's always my version of that. I'm on the stage with you guys or with Severed or something, but the one was, Odious playing a new song that I'd never heard, and I had to like freestyle growls throughout the whole thing, and then felt like an idiot. And then to end the dream, I walked off stage, and you know how dreams just, you're already in another scene. I just walked off stage and I'm in line for the Superman roller coaster at Magic Mountain, dude.
Whew, dodge that bullet.
Which is actually, it's actually a cool
Way better.
transition, but I'm just like, what the fuck are dreams, dude? That's crazy.
Dude, there's bananas, dude. They'll have different parents and dreams and be like, yeah, that's my dad. And just be a random dude and just be like, yeah, that's my dad, that's my mom. Like, it's like, what the fuck? And then wake up in the morning like, that's not my, what the fuck was that? It's so I'm like stupid and gullible in my dreams too. This sucks.
You guys ever have the phone in the dream? Like the phone doesn't work and you're trying to like text or like
I've heard about
on
that.
the phone.
Yeah, I've
Dude,
heard that.
and
Can't
it's so
can't do
common.
it.
You can look it up. It's a thing.
Common.
And
Yeah, I've
also,
heard about it.
and it's so common that even in my dreams, I start to go like, wait a minute, is this a dream? Because I can't. Is my phone not working, or am I just fucking dumb?
Like, well, that's
I can't
like
figure
lucid
out
dreaming.
Lucid dreaming.
Breaking the matrix.
Yeah, but I start. It's like, but I usually, I don't. I like have trouble like realizing I'm dreaming, but I like kind of I start to go like, oh, I have hints. I'm like, oh, maybe because I'm like I can't use my phone or the phone's not. It's like it's weird. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my experience. But
okay.
And then I wake up and then I realize, oh, it was a dream, but not like
totally
usually in the dream. So I don't get to fly and do all that shit.
No,
I ruined one of Joel's lucid dreams on tour.
Oh yeah.
It's a
100%.
story we've told a few times on the show, but
So
try and recall that dream specifically and where I pulled what happened, how I ended it.
Yeah, so I did the same thing kind of case. We were on. So my dad, it was like our first like not international but national tour, I think, and we had stopped by my dad's house, and my dad's like, oh, here's two like nice air mattresses for you guys. We're like, fuck yeah. And so I'm sleeping on it for the first fucking time, and like we're like using it in a Motel 6 or something. And I remember just I was dreaming about being on tour, and all of a sudden I was on top of the van, steering the van, like on top of it. And I was like, wait a minute, you don't sit on the top of the van.
That's not right.
That's not, this ain't right here. What's going on? And so my brain's like, oh, you're dreaming. And I just started flying all over the place and like being able to do whatever I want, just flying into like just insane, just banana. And then I wake up and the fucking air mattress just popped because Anthony was doing fucking knife tricks.
No, so I did the knife tricks.
And then Anthony goes like, hey dude, let's go to fucking, we're in like Oklahoma or something. He's all, hey dude, let's go to Long John Silver's. I was like, in Oklahoma, you want to go like where there's no fish even close
landlocked state?
Yeah, you're like
of a dream.
The part that you said you were like, I'm gonna fly to my ex-girlfriend's house or something.
Yeah, I was gonna go like
Rick's house and like you were about to like touch your tits or something, and then I woke you up like, hey dude, I popped your air mattress. You want to go to Long John Silver?
It wasn't that. It was something like, it was something perverted though.
I think I popped it. I think I popped it before you went to bed though, and I didn't pop it. I just put a tiny hole in it because I bought a butterfly knife and thought I could fucking show you guys how sick I was with it, and I dropped it right on the brand new air mattress that we just fucking aired up for the first time, dude. It literally was the first time we aired it
and
up.
We have like $9 each at the time. Like we were like broke as fuck, and like dude's all, dude, I'm gonna do this butterfly knife tricks, dude. Like
after he spent that $9 on that butterfly knife, that was
I think it was $5. I think it was $5.
4 left for food for the rest of the day. Yeah. Perfect.
Plenty. And then my dumbass I bought that while we were out on the road. Didn't think about going into Canada. So then I literally had to send this $5 butterfly knife home. I should have just fucking thrown it in the garbage, dude. But $5 was a little bit more back then, and I actually wanted a knife to fuck around with the whole time.
Sick butterfly knives are sick, dude.
It was like a fidget toy before fucking fidget toys.
Fidget toy that can cut you hard.
So I just looked this up though. So Guttural was saying that you can't read in your sleep, and I just looked it up, and it said like most dreams you can, but the text is all garbled usually, and it's nonsensical. So like,
dude,
that's why the phone thing is like looking at text.
Dude,
you're like, your brain's going like, what the?
I try so hard. I'm like in my phone. I'm like, why the fuck can't I find the content? Like, what the fuck? Like, I get all mad.
No, I've done that. Yeah, where it's like, why is this not working? Like you're like trying to do something like get somebody's number or like execute some task, and you're like, this is why is this not working? It's so weird and frustrating. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I always get that like that super embarrassing one, but the naked one a lot where I'm like, I'm just like naked. Sorry.
Yeah. When you came in.
It's like, I wake up and I'm like, what the fuck? But
that's
like,
weird.
And of course, it's at a time where my pubes are longer than my dick, so it's like,
well, that's good. That's actually better because then it's like natural boxers.
But, yeah, there you go.
But the one that I always have, Joel, it's like you and me, we're like backstage, ready to go on to do a decrepit set, and I'm like, cool, fuck yeah. Did we practice? Like, we haven't played it in like 10 plus years, and or whatever it is, I don't even know, 15 years, and I'm just like, I guess we're gonna play, or even Odie sets. I'm like, I don't know. And
that too.
And then I just like somehow it works out though, but I don't like remember it. I don't know. It's so weird, dude. Those are my two.
Yeah, I remember just freestyle, like looking over at someone else and like trying to copy what they're doing on guitar or something. Like just like, all right, this part, all right, boom. It's like all odd time signature shit. I'm just like, sick, dude. This is fucking chill, dude.
Mine's like, all right, here we go. God. And then I wake up.
There you go.
Like, I figured it out. I don't know.
Saved it, dude. I hate when like I've had ones where like somebody dies. Like I remember one time I had like one of my best friends die in a dream, and I did the thing where like I woke up and like for the first like 30 seconds of being awake, I thought it was real. You know, like I remember like waking up and being like, oh man, and then going to take a piss at like 3 a.m. being like, oh fuck, Garrett died. Like, oh wait, no, we didn't. You know, that little trip where it tricks you for a hot second.
Like, did it real? Yeah. Dude, you just tripped me out because I just remembered this fucking dream. It could have been a horror movie, dude. It was right after my nana had passed, dude, and I go over to my aunt's house and I knock on her door and she opens up the door and she's like, "Okay, I don't want to freak you out, but Nana's in here." And I was like,
"Oh shit."
And she's like, but she doesn't look like she used to. But you can't let her know that she looks different.
Oof.
Oh, dude, I just got chills right now, dude. Because I remember how my aunt's house was set up, and their dining room was to the left of the door, right when you walk in. So like as soon as I walk through this doorway, I'm gonna see what she's talking about, you know.
Oh, Jesus.
And I walk in and she's a fucking like decomposing zombie, dude, just sitting at the table, and she's staring right at me, dude. And I'm supposed to sit across from her at the table and just act like, "What's up, Nana?" Like, how?
That's heavy, dude.
How's the afterlife? You know.
I mean, for me, if that were to actually happen, I would just be like, all right, this looks insane, but I get to communicate with her, so I'm just gonna be
I mean,
it's gonna be sick. It's gonna be suck, and it's gonna be sick.
Yeah,
it's gonna be suck.
It's gonna be suck.
I'm gonna start saying
you suck sick.
Yo, Nana, this is shot, dude.
Like you look nuts.
And then she's like, "You're telling me," and then her fucking jaw falls off.
Brutal.
Damn,
dude, I know, but I mean, that's just like that's the trauma of you're knowing that your Nana's in the ground, you know.
Yeah, man.
And it was within like the first year, so it's still grieving and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
that could be.
I think it's common to have dreams that people are still alive. Like I have dreams about my pops a bunch and all that, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just like part of it.
I like this dream podcast shit we're on now.
Dude, that's Cali Death Podcast, dude. We get into the weeds. We usually try and get in there pretty quick, dude. We like it in here. Fuck all you guys who don't like it in the weeds.
It's comfy in the weeds.
Best dream movies is Freddy Krueger.
Oh yeah, dude.
Series classics.
Dream Police, the third one or whatever. That one's underrated. That one's tight with like little Patricia Arquette.
Yeah,
that one was good. Yeah,
she's
dig those flicks.
Do you think we have dreams because our brain, it's like a shark? If it just stops working, it just dies. It's got to keep going.
Isn't it like the the deep sleep, like, you know, when you sleep in and shit, you tend to have a REM sleep, whatever. You have like more dreams in your sleep because you're in like a deeper sleep or something. I mean, I might be wrong, but
I always read it was like your short-term memory being transferred to long-term memory, like the process in REM
I had
sleep.
heard something like that. It's like defragging the information that you gathered throughout.
So like
the day.
shit you see throughout the day or stuff like where your brain has a weird way of like compressing it and turning it into long-term memories. So like the process like is hallucinatory in your subconscious.
Yeah, it's like
that's what I always thought it was.
We get a playback for some reason. Why do we need the playback? You know, that could be, you know, something that's done in the background of the desktop, but we get, you know, we get the projection of whatever. And
isn't it like,
you know, go.
Also, your brain's like clearing out like it's like processing and clearing out all that stuff. It's like clearing your brain's cache kind of thing.
Something like that. That sounds right.
And if you like don't, like, I think it's like if you don't dream and you're up for days and all that, you go crazy. Like it leads to that because like there's something like your dreams might be crazy, but then you wake up and you're like, oh, and you're like refreshed and like that was just crazy dreams. Like my brain was like kind of like cleaning itself out of all that. But that's not reality, you know. But if like if you don't sleep for days and you're like, you know, like that becomes reality, right?
No, it starts mixing in.
Go full psychosis mode.
Yeah,
like
you know, I don't know.
The movie The Machinist. He's
when he sleeps.
Yeah, dude.
That's a good
one. Perfect example of what you're saying, dude.
Yeah,
scary shit, dude. This sounds like I'm sure someone's written a death metal album about this, right? I'm sure there's been a concept record about like not sleeping and how dreams can
get reality ideas right now.
Yeah,
with the amount of death metal bands on the planet and the fact that we can come up with it in a stoned 40-minute in podcast, I'm sure somebody's fucking.
I'm sure it's been done.
Yeah.
If it hasn't been done, I'm sure Luke LeMay will do it at some point. Gorgas will do it, or fucking.
He's actually, isn't he like all about mythology and shit though? Isn't he?
Yeah,
like,
he is. He's way smarter than that. I'm sure Bill has some shit about that. Bill, decrepit Bill has some crazy.
I saw
lyrics.
Bill recently. He's a good. Love that guy.
Oh, dude, I got a great Bill story, and I know I told it on a podcast, but like not Bill in stories. Years. I know I've told it before, but this years ago, so I'll tell it again. I was out on a tour with the Kennedy Vale, and we were opening for Decrepit Birth. Gabe doing double duty,
Gabe,
and it was the first show of the run where we all got together. It was like Cryptopsy and Decrepit Birth and a bunch of sick bands, and we're setting up the merch table. The Kennedy Vale one would happen to be right next to the Decrepit Births one, and we're like Connecticut or something, New Hampshire, all the way on the east coast, right? It's been a long journey out there, and I'm setting things up, and this dude, God bless him, I'm not gonna drop his name because I don't want to throw shade, but he's a very sweet guy, very sweet, and he's very knowledgeable. Maybe he got a touch of the tism. I don't know. No shade on that. But he was just like, he came up to me like, I have been setting up merch for like 30 minutes. And he's like, "You're Monte Barnard." I was like, "Yeah, dude, what's up?" Holy shit. Whoa, hey, man. And he's like, "Yeah, you were in this band and this band was sick. And then when you did this," and he was just rattling off like my fucking CV.
Whole resume and shit.
I'm like, "Oh, I'm very flattered that you know this about me." Like these silly, bands I've been in over the years. And then he starts going off on like kind of a tangent about like how this guy actually drummed in this band, and we were just kind of going back and forth, but it was like a 90-10 kind of conversation, where he was just kind of giving me facts, and I was like, I gotta go do a thing. And so I think I actually did need to go do something, to go unload or help somebody with something, but I come back and again, Decrepit's merch tables are next to us, and Bill is manning that. And I catch the tail end of this conversation of this guy doing the same thing to Bill, being like, "Oh, so and so's band was in this thing," but like informatively punishing him. And as I walk up, where Bill's kind of just going, and then to a certain point he goes, "Hey man, I'm gonna have to stop you. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about."
yeah, that's Bill stuff.
And I was just like, all right,
that's the best.
I'm excited to hang out with this guy for a month.
That checks out, dude. I lived with Bill for 2 years, and he like lived in our hallway, and like
yeah.
just knowing and just that's like total classic Bill. Just like because I know one thing with Bill is like his voice is like obviously a precious thing. He's a singer, but like him like talking at the merch is like something that's like doesn't want to do too much of it, but he's down to like be like fuck yeah, good stuff, oh cool, hell yeah,
yeah.
He's down to do that, but like he would just like when people just like over talk to him, he'd just be like, I gotta be honest with you, I don't want to talk right now. He would just say something all crazy and we'd just be like, damn, dude. All right.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Well, dude,
I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
At the time that And Time Begins came out, and we started hearing about Decrepit Birth, there was this legend of Bill because he was this guy that, you know, was older than the guys that were in the band, and we were younger than the guys that were in the band. So it's kind of like the 2-step OG up. Plus, he was living in Santa Cruz Mountains. He literally was camping out. So dude, the legend of the death metal vocalist that has all these weird psychedelic lyrics comes out of the mountains to fucking, you know, tell everybody why he's the kingdom of God, and then he would disappear back into the mountains, you know,
just rip the fucking set. Just, you know, was that guy even real? Like, where did he come from?
And then I
hear he lives in a cave, you know. I know
people
fucking
Mars. He lives in a tree.
He comes out just to surf and do death metal.
Yeah,
the best is when you're having a stressful day and you just think of Bill just like fuck work, and I'm like dude.
Totally, dude.
Yeah,
but I'm like, but I gotta do it. But yeah.
And then you hear those rants and stuff and realize his punk, you know, origins and all that kind of stuff, and it totally makes sense, you know. I wouldn't even have, but like labeled him a punk guy because all I knew is he's this brutal vocalist that had these crazy lyrics and this big stage presence and shit. And then knowing about his punk past now, I'm like, oh, dude, not only does it make sense, but that's fucking rad, you know?
That dude should write a book. That dude should.
He's got a life story for sure, dude.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard FSA?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. He's been doing,
shout out Monte.
FSA, dude. He's been fronting a punk band for a while now. They got some recordings on.
Oh no, this does sound familiar. I remember seeing a blurb about this.
Is it Fuck Society's Army? Is that what FSA
I forget what it stands for. I think it is that. Either way, it's great, fun stuff, dude.
My favorite song is Dick Dragger, or the or what's it called? Half Man, Half Dick Dragger or something.
Yeah,
like Boogie Boarders or Dick Draggers, like the
surfers call the Boogie Boarders Dick Draggers, dude. And it's funny because I was a Dick Dragger. That's the only thing I did out of our beach.
I'll check it out, man. I'll check it out.
Yeah, FSA, dude. Shout out Bill's punk band, dude. They play in Santa Cruz like a bunch and shit.
Okay, hell yeah, man. Yeah, this sounds more familiar the more I'm hearing about it. I don't think I've ever listened to it, but I remember being like thinking that, oh, Bill's in a punk band, that tracks.
Yeah,
totally. That's awesome. Good for him, dude. Yeah, I'm excited that they're I actually booked the Shred Fest. I booked shows at a venue here in Portland.
Nice.
And I worked with the team and brought on that, so I'm excited to see Gabe rip it with Decrepit Birth and see Matt and the boys. And then obviously Obscura and Origin and Atheist. It's gonna be a sick night. So I'm excited.
Hell yeah, dude. Have you ever caught Atheist yet?
I don't think so. Maybe.
Okay. It's awesome, dude.
I don't know. I'm excited though.
All the dudes in that band are fucking stellar musicians, and they've really put on a great show, dude. If you're an Atheist fan, you're gonna really appreciate it.
Sweet. Yeah, I've never really been super into them. I've always dug them, but I've never like really, celebrated their catalog, as one says. But I'm looking forward to seeing them with, being bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and checking it out.
Totally, dude. And I mean, we were talking about Florida death metal. They definitely put a unique stamp on that shit. So I think you should revisit some stuff.
Sweet.
Unquestionable Presence would be a great place to start, and then branch out from there, dude.
Okay, I'll start there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Someone just jumped in the pool over there, but it was ducks. Literally.
You're living that Tony Soprano life right now, dude. This is tight.
I'm just glad there's no one else here, man. I got to share this with the whole community, but I'm by myself.
I'm waiting for you to fire up a cigar pretty soon, dude.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, man. Wish I could join you. That looks great.
Yeah, looks chill.
Come on, guys. Come on over.
Yeah.
So I guess 49 minutes in, we should probably get a little origin story on you, Monty.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, dude. Okay. Let's go back in time a little bit. We're were you Cali born?
Yeah. I was born in Santa Barbara, and then I lived in Oregon for a long time, and then I moved back to Northern California where I started playing music. Started on guitar, playing in a bunch of punk bands, and then realized I wanted to play. Well, I discovered Converge and like Dahlia, and really wanted to get into the heavier stuff, the more intense stuff. Guttural Reef is on it right now. That's great.
Oh no, my headphones. Casey's news in the way.
He said plot twist. Casey's wearing a shirt but no trunks.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
Flopping the dingle.
There you go.
Oh, it looked like it was skin colored too.
It did look at their skin color.
Wait, stand right there real quick. Let me see if I can.
Perfect.
To be the top.
Nailed it.
Proof I'm not naked.
I love it.
I'm not a weirdo.
I love it,
Come
man.
on.
No, dude, you'll see it afterwards.
You'll see it after. Casey or Anthony.
What do you do? Yeah.
I became your top half.
Oh,
That's pretty good.
oh, nice.
It worked well.
Perfect. Cool.
Oh, yeah, man.
But
Yeah,
all right,
good stuff.
but again, I'm going to rewind you one more time because we always like to know where art, music sprung up with you. Like we like to hear first songs that you actually found yourself into at a young age, and what your parents were listening to around the house. We like to hear that stuff too.
Yeah, my folks were big music heads. A lot of like post-punk and new wave, a lot of like Floyd, a lot of the Smiths, a lot of the Clash, a lot of Depeche Mode, a lot of the Cure, that kind of stuff. Zeppelin,
Nice.
a lot of Zeppelin, a lot of Sabbath, a lot of that kind of stuff. So nothing too crazy. Some grunge too. You know, I really got into, or my mom tells me when I was like 2, I wore out a Billy Idol tape because I liked Billy Idol so much, and I kept telling her to replay it until it wore out. And then first song I remember was Paradise City by Guns N' Roses. I loved that song. I was like 4. And then I heard Bullet with Butterfly Wing, Zero. I heard Zero by Smashing Pumpkins. And that riff, I was just like, what is that? And then my pop took me to see Smashing Pumpkins when I was 7. That was my first concert.
Sick.
Saw them on the Melancholy and Infinite Sadness tour.
Yeah, I saw that tour.
Yeah, and then I got Metallica. I remember seeing the Enter Sandman video, blew my mind, and I went to see them when I was 9 and got really into that. And then it was just kind of like, it was the MTV, your Corns and Limp Bizkits, and then Slipknot blew the doors open, and then I got into the more punk stuff and kind of wanted to pull in that. I really liked the aesthetic of being a punk rocker and kind of tried to pull that off in high school a little bit. Then got really like screamo into like metalcore stuff. I really dug that because the chicks dug that. So, I had this. I think I had a pretty solid swoop there for a while and some girl jeans. Playing Under Oath songs. I'm gonna call myself out here. I don't give a fuck anymore. Dude.
No, dude. I mean, I had a Slipknot shirt to wear every day for like a month without repeating, dude. I just had stacks of fucking Slipknot mud vein. I went through that whole phase. We're not gonna go deep into it. We had a longer conversation about new metal last week, dude. We'll probably keep dropping them off like flies, all the guys who hate it when we talk about new metal, but yeah, dude, it's like I for one am never gonna be shameful for my journey into music and all that kind of shit, so I always hope that people be honest, because we've done it 218 times now, dude, and there are times where I could tell dudes want to
show off their
they want to sidestep what actually was really their shit,
New metal doesn't get the chicks that like. Well, you get venturing into emo stuff too. You were saying?
Oh no, like going full scene, yeah, dude. I was
so Anthony, he's going further, dude. We got to get emo.
He followed the chicks for sure. New metal was for the guys who wanted.
Exactly. New metal was
there for the incels, kind of incel.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't get women. That's why I'm listening to new metal. Because that's why I'm angry and I have this buildup, and that's why
I was into the chicks with the weird hair, not the ones with like the giant Osiris shoes.
Right? Oh yeah.
I totally had a pair of Osiris, dude. I had the fat tongues. I used to wear lugs. You remember lug boots? I used to wear those.
Damn.
I had the Jinkos. I did the
yeah.
whole thing. I bleached my hair and spiked it, all that kind of shit.
I did the tips.
That's why we're both bald.
Fork. Yeah.
Dude,
That's why we're both
I
bald.
actually think that is true, dude, because I let my buddy do it one time and we left it on too long, dude, and I was fried for like a week, dude.
Our parents were right, dude. Our parents kept saying that your hair's gonna fall out if you do that. And we were like, no, it's not. And like, fucking, they were right. Damn it.
Parents just don't understand.
It's like, oh no, maybe they do. But yeah, man. Then I got down like we're hearing Dahlia for the first time and like Converge and just getting really into. I worked next to a record store and I made quick friends with the people that worked there, and they're still buddies of mine actually. A couple of them live here in Portland. And
what was your first gig that got rowdy where you were like, oh shit, things are going down in here, dude?
Like some local Sacramento stuff, like probably Elysia or like Catherine, like those kinds of bands, like a lot of like the Conducting from the Grave and With Passion, those bands. I was really into those. This other one a little bit heavier than like your Under Oathy sceney stuff. It was kind of like, oh, what's the other side of that veil look like, and started to explore death metal. And then I just decided I wanted to. I did backing vocals in my high school screamo band and did the harsh stuff. And I was people told me I was good at it and I liked doing it, and so I thought Converge was super cool, and so I started a band that sounded exactly like Converge. And then the rest is history. Kind of snowballed, and here we are.
What was the first death metal band you came across?
I mean, I guess I don't know if Dahlia counts. I mean, they're more mellow death, but like
we should hold on a sec though. I think we don't talk. Okay, so I had some buddies in San Diego that played in the band American Tragedy, and John Green and those guys and Justin, like they were part of that whole thing, and they played with Converge a lot, and they knew the As It Lay Dying guys and all that. But it was like, we used to go to shows at the Che Cafe down in San Diego, and like Converge would play and all that kind of shit. So I remember that scene, dude. And like, they were kind of more into that, but I was like, we were always down, and they covered Slayer and shit and like, whatever this band, but like those kind of shows, man, like, cause we don't really talk about that screamo kind of shit and that whole, and also like going to like the Locust shows and shit down there. And
dude.
In the day, but like, that's something that, we always talk about new metal and we always talk about whatever this, but we don't talk about that really at all. And I think that's kind of something that's kind of interesting. Like he's bringing it up, and like, first of all, Converge is a great band. Like,
so sick.
Converge
is still one of my all-time favorites. Yeah.
So I just want to like, just give us a second to like talk about that genre a little bit. And that genre did attract girls and stuff or whatever. Just not that matters, but it's just for the conversation. Like, it was just
you're not wrong, man.
It was no, it's different.
Death Wish.
It was weird.
Death Wish and all that. Yeah, the whole Boston stuff and like the East Coast stuff. Like that kind of like or the early days of like metalcore. This is an interesting track. So like I wrote a paper about this in college, weirdly enough.
Oh really?
About the kind of phenomenon on how a new music subgenre will kind of bubble up and kind of mistake its claim, and then the perception of that genre. The perception of that genre will make a secondary imprint, and then that's the genre that it will become. So you look at like black metal, and you look at like the impact like second wave Norwegian black metal had, and then how that was like Norway's biggest import from 94 to 96 of like record sales of black metal, and then that impact did that same thing, and then all the bands we now know today as the biggest black metal bands are pulling off of that and inspired by it, but they aren't actually that sound necessarily. Same thing with like metalcore, like Converge and like Botch and like Dead Guy and that kind of stuff. Like that was metalcore. That was like Shadows Fall was metalcore back in the day of it. East Coast shit. And then now the influence of that, your As It Lay Dying, that becomes everybody knows as metalcore. Emo is the same way. The early November, the Appleseed Cast, all that shit that was like, early, like kind of Midwest emo stuff was that tone, that weird sound. But then everybody pulled off that. And then when you think of emo, you think of My Chemical Romance. You think of that. No one thinks of the original project.
The bands that got bigger.
Yeah. There's always a first wave of the genre that kind of breaks new ground.
It's like
maybe not
Green Day or something.
Exactly. Maybe not as much anymore because the internet has kind of fucked up the whole trajectory of like how the canonical evolution of music goes and subgenres and like underground
evolution's fucked through the internet. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's all kind of a weird hodgepodge of people.
It's all like it's all everything turning into a fucking Big Bang or something.
Whatever you want to hear, you'll find it.
Dude, I'll see you in a minute.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah, for sure. No, anyway, dude, that totally. That's cool. That's very cool. Interesting because you think of like a new branch or a new thing all in itself. Like there's probably a lot of chaos in the beginning of the birth of something, and so then it becomes distilled into something else that may be more organized or whatever. Maybe not. That's not the right word.
Yeah, it's a weird. I know you're saying. Yeah, it's a weird. Glassjaw is a great example.
Oh
like, I love Glassjaw. Just saw him at the Warfield.
Was it Serbian Kiss? Was that big song that they had? Yeah, man. I still love that. That's a banger.
But they were super influential, right? And they were on a major label when Worship and Tribute, the second full length, came out, and they played to like 50 people a night on a major label with tour support and a bus and all that. And then the internet just did its thing. It's internet giveth and internet taketh away, right? Like it did its thing. And then like they obviously influenced so many fucking Warped Tour bands. Like The Used just stole what Glassjaw was doing, but now like they kind of come full circle and we'll play these giant rooms and have this weird underground following.
Well, I think a lot of it too is like it's kind of people before those bands watching those bands going like, all right, we could do that, but then this, and then like do that, and then we're seeing what it's missing or not missing, but like for the popular element, like going like I mean, in your paper, actually, one question I had thinking to myself, did you ever so seeing how a band, I mean, there's so many examples of like that outside of music that has done the same thing, like as far as like I don't know what did you in your paper, did you ever quote or examples of other parts of life that do that same thing?
I feel like not that I remember. No, but that's an interesting point. I mean, it's been
styles
20 years.
Of art, styles of film. It all is. All art forms for sure. You can put that across the board.
Yeah,
but
as far as distillation,
like innovation and technology, it could definitely. We're a bunch of copycats, dude. As soon as the idea becomes real, then we can refine that into something better. That's the idea all the time. Is like, we can make this better, and it doesn't always make it better, but it's still like the human nature of the idea came into reality somewhere somehow, but now it's everybody's idea, and how are we going to make it is an individual idea as we can,
and what resonates, right? Where it's like there's maybe an art form like a film or music or whatever that like something that breaks the mold is a little too off-putting, and then the next round is a little more polished and kind of pulls in. I think the thesis of the paper, if I remember correctly, was kind of was dialing in like the trajectory and the pipeline from like cutting bleeding edge like underground forms of music, and what that pipeline was from that to like becoming bleeding into the mainstream, and how that trajectory and trend line was pretty uniform throughout all kinds of music. Was that it's like this is what happens. It'll happen in the underground first, and then everyone will take notice. We will all classify that subgenre as the second wave, and then the third and the fourth wave of it was when it will start to actually its influence will start to permeate in the mainstream and showcase. And that's how mainstream music evolves, is this weird undercurrent of subgenres popping up and kind of pushing down and bobbing and weaving. Again, it's been like, I don't know, I was 21 when I wrote it, and I'm 37 now.
No,
so
I mean,
take it with a grain of salt.
Hey, no, it all makes sense, dude. It all makes sense, and it totally is. I mean, it's like the cream will rise to the top type deal, but I mean, where that cream started doesn't get its recognition,
Yeah,
and sometimes people get a hold of the cream. Like nowadays, like a lot of look at a lot of brands, look at a lot of stuff. They pay really influential people to put their brand on their shirt, and maybe like back in the day, there was like bands like The Haunted when I was a kid. The Haunted, only reason why I fell in love with them and even found them, and then went backwards to At the Gates and like like 99, 2000, 2001, something like that, 2002, was because Kerry King was wearing their shirt once, and I was a big Slayer fan, and I was
There
like,
you go.
all right. And back then you didn't have like, I mean, you had the internet, but it was like you can go like, what's Kerry King? What, you know, there was none of that.
Dude.
So I just saw the same logo that he was wearing on his shirt, and me and Kerry were just like, all right, let's check it out. And then we just like learned the whole album on guitar. We were like obsessed, you know. And so there's certain like there in Martyr with Spawn of Possession 2002 or 3 when I got Cabinet, I was like, we were just like, we had to find out new bands to listen to. So we just looked at their thank you list and we're like, all right, Martyr is like their number one thing they thank. So we're going to go buy Martyr.
Check it out.
Almost, you know, and we're gonna go figure it out. It's like, and
the
nowadays
liner
like,
notes, dude. The liner note, thank you, cosign. The liner note, thank you, and then the band photo, cosign of like who you're wearing on the t-shirt.
Who you're wearing was humongous.
Yeah,
I remember like telling
I
was telling Jared from Archaic, like I think it might have been Polarity for Decrepit Birth. I was like, dude, I'm wearing your shirt for the fucking album picture. Like fuck yeah, dude, you're gonna get like 7 more listens in reality. But in my head, I was like, dude, I'm wearing it. And he's like, thank you so much, you know, because I've known that kid that adult for forever. And you know,
yeah, man.
And so just doing the shout out, just like picking like who we're going out like to the Decrepit, you know, like a photography album thing, and I'm like, who do I wear? Like, what's gonna be who deserves it the most? I don't know.
Yeah,
Your ring goes through like all these things, you know. It's like it's not like what's
never wear a shirt of a band that you're going to see.
You're wearing Archaic right now. It's pretty funny. I just said that.
Oh yeah.
It's bad luck. Isn't it bad luck if you wear the shirt of the band you're going to see?
No, these were all our stupid rules. You never wear that, and you never listen to the band on the way to the show.
What it is.
Yeah, that one
Everybody
is more important to me. That one's more important to me because you don't want to like burn. Like when you go to when I was a kid, you go to Ozfest or something, and there's like this guy just like got a fucking huge stereo system. He's just blasting the headline band like as you're walking. You're like, no, it's like I remember it was like Slayer or something. It's like, dude, we're here. We're about to hear it live. Like play something.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't bust your nut when you're about to go into a fucking sick threesome, dude. Don't like, come on, what the fuck? What are you doing?
It's like their playlist is all those bands.
Slayer fans edge themselves in the parking lot before they go into Slayer shows.
I've heard weirder things. I think that tracks. Yeah, that's why I'm wearing this Post Heaven hoodie. This band we just did this little run with. These kids from Central California, and they're fucking great. Kind of blackened death metal, and roll. Like it's just fun riffs, really hard, a great aesthetic, great vibes. It's just really sick riffs, headbanging stuff. It's nothing that's like, you know, super out left field or anything, but it's like, dude, it rips, and they play it really proficiently. I mean, they're all probably 25 or younger. Yeah, super nice kids. Their singer's a tattoo artist, an artist. You know, they're like their whole aesthetic and branding and everything. They had it down and had a lot of fun with them. So I was like, yeah, I'll wear some Post Heaven gear.
Definitely, no, I love that name. That's a cool name.
Yeah, logo too.
Yeah, it's a sick logo. I mean, as far as like, I remember death metal. Like, I don't know. I feel like death metal might be on the kind of like undergroundish circuit again. I feel like it's gonna bubble up again. I feel like death metal kind of does this. The 90s, supposedly, my brother told me that was humongous, like in the early 90s. Like you go to shows and it was humongous, sell out, like fat shows. And
the underground death metal, like mainstream metal was obviously shot in the 90s, but underground, it went underground for sure, went big.
Yeah. Like Morbid Angel shows, he said like plays huge venues and stuff, and like when he was, you know, in the early 90s and stuff. And I feel like, you know, with tours like Summer Slaughter going away, I mean, for death metal. Well, and and I feel like those lineups are kind of waning a little bit, you know what I mean? So I feel like people will get like burnt out by the more popular kind of style of music, and they'll go to death metal more, and then it will bubble up again. And then I feel like it's just the ebb and flow of death metal. I feel like right now it's popular, but it's definitely not. I mean, popular in the underground, but I would say that it's actually kind of on the downturn and coming back up soon, kind of thing. I don't know. I'm just
interesting.
I'm doing that math right now because I haven't seen like those big. I mean, Europe. I mean, they have it dialed in. Yeah. They have it. That's a different. They have it completely nailed. But as far as, you know, just America, I'm just noticing the tour announcements, which they have great packages. I'm seeing great like awesome packages. But as far as like the big like fest tours and the festivals and stuff, they're like less than I remember. Is that just me?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. In the last couple of years, I think it's chilled out a little bit. For a hot minute there, it was like some of those mainstream, like, you know, Ohio rock or fucking, you know, Kentucky metal or whatever it was.
Exactly. Yeah, like, Aftershock or something like an Aftershock.
Yeah.
Like, what are they? Are they employing more death metal or not? They're definitely not.
I think it's definitely taken a downturn. You're right, in the last few years. I think I think it's still a net positive. It's still in the trajectory, still trending 100%. In the right direction because of like, you know, Lamb of God is getting again. Yeah, if bands like, you know, Spirit Box isn't death metal, Lamb of God isn't death metal, but like basically just like edging it to the way of understanding of like, okay, is the public more accepting of harsh vocals, and is that it's not a novelty anymore, it's the norm, and like Bad Omens or, you know, Poppy or whatever the fuck these artists are, it's like, okay, they've taken a step back from real death metal because it's penetrated into the mainstream, right? It's done that thing we were just talking about. So it's like it's gotten to that 4 degrees of separation where now you have, you know, all these, you know, Knocked Loose is on fucking Jimmy Kimmel. But then it's like, okay, we got a dose of it in the mainstream now. And so I think you're right. The underground extreme aspect of it needs to kind of, you know, recapitulate, or needs to kind of regather its essence and kind of find its identity. And then in the interim, there's your kind of middle level death metal stuff that's like, kind of like, it's kind of, you're right. I think it's a little bit of a lull where people are either going to the mainstream because they can go see these huge bands, these huge productions with this harshness and this brutality, give or take, or they can go to like the super underground shit and like the real heads that are, you know, fucking trolls on, you know, metalencyclopedia.com or whatever, like finding those bands. But then they kind of interim mid-level, you know, 500 to 1,000 cap room bands kind of in a weird spot right now. I think you're right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's just kind of like the vibe, but overall, like, you know, there's, and you know, Bad Omens, all those big, they have catchy ass music, man. I'm just like, God damn, that's some good, like, as far as like, I always thought that like pop music was written by like secretly like psychologists,
like, a cabal of Swedish psychologists
that were just like, all right, let's like test a bunch of these people in a room. All right, they're moving their head to this move or to this groove, and then these sequence of chords working at this tempo. I'm like, I don't know, it just seems like it's kind of at a we'll see. I feel like there's a band that needs to come out that just like merges between the pop and, I mean, like another Slipknot needs to come out, kind of like
something that's extreme, something that kind of feels a little safe. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, it was safe enough for the more mainstream listener, but also it gave my 12, 13-year-old self what a blast beat was.
Yeah, man.
You know.
Yeah.
And
there's a sonic ceiling though too, where it's just like you can do so much of like without kind of pivoting to some other kind of like music genre, like input.
I've been saying that forever. As far as like in those big rooms too, like the big rooms, like doing like fast music in big rooms, I've always been like, who's going to come up with a solution for that? Because the frequencies are bouncing around so much that if you're going to do a big room and you're Necrophagist or something, because you know, we did a tour of Necrophagist on the Summer Slaughter, and they're playing in this humongous place, and like I know every song. I was just talking to Carrie about this like 2 days ago, but I was like, but if I know the song and I would still be like, they'd start a song and I'd be like, what song is this? What's going on? There's that riff. I kind of heard. Okay, I got it. And like, it's a band that I would listen to. Like I've like totally fucking memorized every change of every song. And I would be listening to it like live and be like, all right, there's a bit playing a bunch of notes and a bunch of riffs and stuff. And I'd be like, fuck, I see their hands moving. I would literally have to pick it up by their hands sometimes.
You have to like look at the riff and think, what's he playing?
Exactly.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we've kind of bumped up. You're right. We've kind of bumped up against like Moore's law of riffs, right? Like the Moore's law of electronics, like
100%.
Twice as fast in half the amount of time. Like we've kind of bumped up against like the threshold, like how electronics are bumping up against that threshold because they're literally getting smaller than fucking atoms and whatever. Our riffs are literally
This is my amp, dude. I'm gonna plug in my amp, dude. Hold on.
Play all the notes, dude. It's the amp. You just inject my amp into your ear and then
my amp's wireless. Just accept the connection, dude.
Like you said, dude, if you can imagine it, it'll happen, dude, eventually.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens with music in the next 10 years and where it goes. I hope that high tide raises all ships, and we keep seeing the success of more and more extremity. Like our Architects is kind of going back to being a little more of an extreme band. Like they still have their poppy stuff and their big choruses, but they still get fucking gnarly. And like there's it's not full death metal, but I think that's
the way. I think the way is to interject it into something other, like another context, like have a song that's like builds you up into something crazy part. All right, get back to it. And then, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like
Lorna Shore's trying to do that. I think and I'm very curious what this new record sounds like. I do not envy the pressure of like having to write a follow up to a record that big. So I don't know. It'll be cool.
That's going to be very cool. Yeah. I wonder what tricks, because I heard, because I was telling on last week or a couple weeks ago, last pod we did, I got Sirius satellite radio, just because I got a car and it came with it for 3 months.
Oh, word.
And they played this new Slaughter to Prevail song. And it's called like Bear or something, Grizzly,
American Grizzly, or Russian Grizzly in America or something like that, right?
Something like that. Yeah. And I remember they're like, this is the first time we're playing it, and now it's just like every time I turn it on, it's like, here's this new one. It's either Machine Head or Russian Grizzly now. And like, I mean, no, but they'll throw in like gore guts, and they'll throw in like random shit in there that you're like, all right. Like this morning they threw like an old Sepultura song that I haven't listened to in forever, and I was so stoked to hear it, and it helped my morning immensely. But hearing what Slaughter to Prevail did with that new song, they kind of ended with Lorna Shore Into the Hellfire kind of like technique, where they're just like, all right, we're gonna do this thing. We're gonna call out something, go to an extremely heavy double bass breakdown, and just kind of end it off that and be like, all right. Well, to me, I was like, I guess that's the move now. After that, that's how big that song was, Into the Hellfire. It's like they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna end in a huge breakdown, and that's gonna be it.
But check it out, dude. We're talking about two bands that, in my opinion, are as popular as they are mostly for their front men, right? Both their front men went viral.
Yeah.
It would what's the dude's name from Slaughter to Prevail? I forget his name. But he got all viral because he was doing vocals with no mic, right?
Yeah.
That was like his thing, and then he beat himself in the forehead. And I'm not saying that what he does with his voice is actually fucking amazing. This dual vocalist thing that happens in one throat, that
pretty gnarly.
Travis fucking does. I mean, it's like
Cali Cap, yep.
And I mean, I don't know who's done it first. Either way, it's like this new thing that guys are doing, and I think it's cool. I can't fucking do it. Maybe if you train me, I could figure it out and have my own version of it, but I don't really have time for that right now.
Alex is terrible. Alex is terrible.
Yeah. Shout out to both these guys. They're I mean, 100%. It is an innovative version of extreme vocals, but I'm also having this opinion with that's the most exposure I've had to both of these bands is these viral videos with these guys and their voices. So I don't really have too much to say about the music because I haven't been exposed to it enough. But I do think that is a big chunk of it, is that these guys are known as these vocalists, and that's what helps get a thing like that big too. I mean, I always see these guys when I'm scrolling, but I don't see anybody talking to their guitar player or their drummer. It's.
I think it's like the it's the old homage of like the old adage rather of like a gimmick gets your foot in the door, but actually being able to walk gets you in the door. You know what I mean? Like they got a gimmick, they got that. I listened to a lot of Slaughter Prevail, and I'm not Slaughter to Prevail, and I'm not super into it. I think it's for what it is. It's solid, and I think they, especially to your point about how it ended with a big breakdown and there was no kind of resolve or musicality to that. It's like, the purpose of writing a record used to be a tour, and then to sell your record, and now you write a record to sell your tour, right? So it's like kids want to go and experience what they hear online live. It's that kind of dynamic, so that might play a factor into it. I think Lorna Shore is. I think those guys, Austin and those dudes, have been grinding for so long.
They have,
and I think they are pretty solid musicians, and they know what I mean. They're like Cradle of Filth deathcore with crazy, the
maybe
small touches.
I should
they're
dive
sick.
in
They're
on
sick.
that a little bit.
They're actually. I mean, did you see them in Sacramento with Necro Goblicon? I remember I was at that show. It was like Necro.
I've always
Goblicon
loved that name and don't know what that band sounds like either.
Oh no!
It was like upstairs at that. What the fuck? That a Holy Diver.
Holy Diver. Holy shit!
When something else.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
No, I played that room a few times. Yeah. Was it when Tom was singing?
It was the original the original Lorna Shore guy. I don't know his name.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, before you went to Chelsea Grin. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He was the vocalist, and I remember like walking up there and just like not knowing. And in my head, I'm just doing my whole brush off. I'm not gonna like this band, just like trying to be in my head. I'm not telling anyone. I'm just like, I'm not gonna. Whatever. I'll check it out. Kind of move. And I remember actually going like, damn, they sound fucking like tight. Like this band's like sounds like a good band, like a professional band, and then the whole singer issue, and then they brought in the new guy, and I remember seeing the new guy and being like,
this guy, yeah,
a little bit, and then hearing that song at first, I was like, I don't like this, dude. And then I heard it again. I was like, it's kind of cool. And then I'm like, Jesus, that end part is fucking gave me like my hairs stood up a little bit. All right, you got me there. And then like showing it to other people and stuff, and you're just like, Jesus Christ. All right, you did the thing. But that's like one of those. Can you replicate that? And that's another thing that you're talking about. But on another like those other songs they were doing, like they had a couple other songs on that EP or whatever, on that LP, I forget. But it was like 2 or 3 other songs, right, on that thing.
Yeah, it was a short one. It was just the one to kind of. It had To the Hellfire on it, and it was like Will's debut, right? It was with the red Reaper
in the middle. Yeah. I remember like listening to the rest of them. I'm like, damn, it has like properties of other melodic bands I really like. Like it has like feeling and catchiness into it. I mean, the drums are just going like a lot of times, but still, that's cool that they brought like. There's still melodic, kind of like at the gates. I won't say at the gatesy. It all comes from. I mean, in my opinion, metalcore is like at the gates, then kind of influenced because Slaughter of the Soul is just kind of like.
Oh, that's metalcore,
yeah. That's
every Killswitch Engage forever owes at the gates residual checks.
Now, I remember touring with Black Dahlia on the Nocturnal tour, and they had one of their shirts was a Slaughter of the Soul logo, but it said the Black Dahlia murder. And I was like, dude,
just owning it, dude, and that's perfect, dude. I mean,
they're like,
there's no
them.
There's no denying it either. Even the musicians in the band, no, it's totally at the gates.
Because that when you get that melodic part of like when that melodic metal part hits you, you're like, all right, we're here now. And like you got to learn it on guitar and you got to like understand it, and you're like, all right, this is fucking sick. Like that whole album, and even some other previous albums from before that, from At the Gates, you can see where that whole metalcore thing took off. And it's another thing like you were talking about earlier with your paper. It's kind of like that band kind of like did it like in their way, and then other bands are like, oh, we could take
it's the same version,
run with it.
A different version, the mellow death version of everything we just said. If you didn't bring it up, I was just about to bring it up. Like
there we go,
right back into that conversation.
What did Trevor say on that DVD when he was like, we're just here to borrow when they were playing in like Northern Europe or something, Gothenburg. He's like, we're just here to borrow your riffs. We'll bring them back later.
But I'm the type of dude that likes to dig into the past and try and find the origins of shit, and
it's fun.
And you could do that with many different things, directors and all that kind of shit. But that whole, I don't know if everybody's into that, but like Eradicator was saying in the chat, Slaughter to Prevail and Lorna Shore are hype bands, kind of mall metal-ish, but if it gets the kids in the door, exactay, that's what I'm saying. They might end up, instead of reading it,
there might be some kids Slipknot. They might, Lorna Shore might be some 12-year-old Slipknot. You don't know.
I mean, and I would also say, like, shout out to DK and Suicide Silence. That's a version of that too. 10, 20 years ago, they were, you know, the same things. You were in Hot Topic. They were all over Hot Topic and shit. It was these introductory bands for kids that will eventually start digging down the metal rabbit holes and get to a suffocation, you know, and that's beautiful. That's beautiful to me.
Yeah, man. High tide raises all ships. When I saw Lorna Shore when they came through on their headliner, the Ingested was doing, it was Lorna Shore, Aborted, Ingested, a few other bands, and the Ingested guys were crashing at my spot, and so went out to go hang out with them and catch the show, and we watched Lorna Shore, and it was, you could literally tell who knew the band from TikTok. Because it's like you go to shows so many times. We go to obviously, I'm sure everyone in this podcast right now, we've been to thousands of metal shows. You kind of you can clock. It's not a negative thing. This sounds really pretentious, but you can kind of clock someone that has an outsider. You can clock a normie. You can clock someone like, oh, someone dragged their buddy here. Like, that's cool, you know. But it was
like my coworker who showed up to a Carnivorous show with a Carnivorous shirt on, but he tucked it in.
Ooh, rough.
I respect it, dude. I respect it. That's a move, dude. That's harsh.
Yeah, he's letting you know, like, I'm not a kid, but maybe I'm a dad. I don't know.
Yeah, confidence is the key to any outfit. That's what I say. But yeah, so we're just watching. It was so weird. It was surreal because you could see kids, like, you could see like people literally figuring out how to do this in real time. Like, it was fucking weird, and I'm watching, and I'm watching. They're like turning into the superhero, you know. Watching it with Sean from Ingested, he was just like, he's Sean, so he's a British motherfucker, and he's you know.
We had Sean a while back. That was rad.
Dude, Sean and Dan and Frank called me about, I don't know where they were, but they FaceTimed me, and Sean and Dan were so hammered that they were just like, dude, fuck it, what's up? On full screen, just like, fuck, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm like watching it was like playoff football, so that would have been like January or something.
Okay.
So I'm like, wow, that was a while ago actually. But just like, and I was like, sick, dude. Good to see you guys. Like, they're like backstage with like 90 people talking. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Cool, dude. You're gonna hear everything I'm saying. This is so sick. Like, I'm all.
There you go. Dude, he was almost pissed because he like they were so good live. He was like, I remember him turning to me and being like, every night they're this good, like flawless. He's like, I want to watch them. Sean was telling me watching Lorna Shore. We were watching, and he was was kind of like, he was almost pissed. He was like, I watch them. I watch them a lot just to see if they can fuck up, but they don't. He was like, their vocalist just never missed it, like, every night, and he was like pissed off from this.
yeah.
You know,
damn it.
Anyway, he was. Yeah, I mean, I know that their lineup has changed obviously recently, but I always used to joke, you know, I love those dudes, and I always used to joke that like Sean was always the curmudgeon who would just, you know, tell you the most cynical take, the most British fucking rainy day fuck you cynical take, and then you go to Jason, you know, former vocalist, and he would always be on cloud nine. I'm like, yeah, oh, it's been fucking great, mate. And he always go off and be like, tell you all the good side of everything. And
it's like the angel and devil on their shoulder.
Exactly. And then you track down their drummer Lynn, and he just goes, right, when's loading tomorrow? You know,
just businessmen, just like
they're like the perfect three. It was always such a trip hanging out with them. But
I found that shirt, by the way. I found the that was perfect, dude.
That's
what is
great.
That mockery of? Is it at the gates?
At the gates, yeah.
I'm the dumb guy. I'm like, I
no,
thought
it's all good.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah, because that's like where their style came from. That's like, it's like that Swedish melodic style, and they're like, and At the Gates is obviously the forefather, and it's so sad that they're not like, if At the Gates like announces like, we're gonna play fucking this huge venue like tomorrow, people will be like, all right, we'll half sell it out. I don't know, it's gonna go. Like, people, they're not like, you know, really? the respect is kind of it's not
they
lost.
Had a moment. Yeah, they had a big moment there for a while where they came back.
Was humongous. Like,
what's that video of like 08 in Vakken where they play like the main stage, and they just like, it's like 50,000 people or something crazy just playing Slaughter of the Soul. Then they did a couple records, they did a couple sick tours, and then I think they kind of just 100%. Petered out again.
Yeah,
they're probably chilling, and they'll come back and do another anniversary tour and of
in
Slaughter
40 years,
blow the doors off. Yeah.
Did those guys go to other bands? Didn't some of the members? I don't
the Haunted and In Flames. I forget. Yeah.
And didn't one of the guys go to Arch Enemy? Yeah.
Arch Enemy. Yeah.
And then they all trickled off.
Which Arch Enemy was sick live. They played the Pound with the OG vocalist. I forget her name. Yeah,
damn, dude.
It's Carcass
Angela.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Dude, that was the whole hype though, was going because the fucking guitarist of At the Gates is in the band. You're like, oh dude, we're about to go see the guitarist of At the Gates.
And the guitar player,
Michael Ammett.
Yeah,
one of them.
Oh, Michael Ammett. Yeah. Okay.
He played in Carcass. I get them all mixed up. All those Swedish guys look the same.
Was it? Oh, what?
We played with some shows with Carcass. It's the guy with the red hair, Michael Ammett. Yeah, he would ride around this little bicycle like in the backstage or back area and just be like, hey, what's up? And just like be all quiet. I'm like, dude, you're insane. Like, just like want to like tell him good stuff. Like, your guitar playing is rad, dude. And he's like, cool, dude. Just drive off on a little bicycle and be like, all right, this isn't like such an alternate universe when you're on tour and you just get to play with like bands that influenced you as a kid. They're just like riding little bicycles. You're like, all right, dude, what's going on?
Fuck? I remember being in a line for catering at a festival, and like the singer, like Tomas, I think his name is, the singer of At the Gates was like right behind me.
Yeah.
And I was looking around, and I probably turned ghost white. I was like, holy shit, that's I didn't say anything to him. I was just like, oh my god. It was very surreal to be like in a field in Germany somewhere, like in a line for catering, and this guy's behind me.
I've punished that guy a couple times. Dude, it was like At the Gates in like Behemoth or something. It was like a tour that went through, and I remember Behemoth had like a line out the door for merch at Regency in San Francisco, and At the Gates he was just standing there with no one in line, and I was like, duh, I'm gonna go talk to him. Like,
damn, dude,
just standing like waiting, and there's like a humongous line for Behemoth, like literally through the main lobby, and they're just sitting there with like, they had like a few people come up, and then it was just sitting there just going like, all right, what's up? Because it's all like black metal people. Black metal. They could be. We don't know.
Yeah.
But Behemoth.
It's possible.
It's possible. It's possible they know about actual black metal. But like they're a very popular band, and At the Gates was open. They wanted to bring At the Gates with them, and watching just him sit there and kind of be bored. And I was like, all right, well, dude, I'm gonna go just be like, thank you. And I did that. And then at a Psycho Fest in Las Vegas, we were coming out of a hotel room with like the cephalic guys, Intronaut, all these people, and like he just like ended up walking next to us, and I was like, dude, we're getting a picture. Like, this is what's happening next. Like, after like 3 in the morning, we're like, dude,
this is what's happening next.
Yeah. He was totally cool. Awesome dude.
I got a good Nurgle story that I think I've told before, but in a few years. But I always like this because he takes himself so seriously, and I mean, I like Behemoth a lot. I do like them. I like their newer stuff, so I'm not too crazy about. But anyway, I was out with some buddies, and I heard this story secondhand. So again, I apologize if I butcher it, but it was the first show of like Sounds of the Underground back in the day. It was like it was the first show of the tour, and my buddies in Embrace the End were playing, the Century Media band from back in the day, if anyone remembers. And
I remember
them. And they were big Behemoth fans. And so everyone loaded in first day of the tour playing with Behemoth, and they go and they want to try to hang out with Nurgle, and they find him in his dressing room or wherever, and they knock on the door. They're like, hey man, we're gonna get some we're so and so Embrace the whatever. Do you want to get some coffee with us? And Nurgle's like practicing his guitar, and he looks up and just goes, caramel macchiato. Always, and then goes back to playing his guitar. He must have thought like they were the runners for the band for like the tour or something, but that was just the rest of the tour is like Nurgle doing like Conquer All, and it's just
god, that's so
funny. He was just like, you're the opening band, give me coffee,
or that
yeah. He's like, do your fucking rookie shit.
Yeah, but every time I think of Nurgle, I think of Behemoth. I just think caramel macchiato.
Caramel macchiato.
That's so funny. It's funny that like to be like that, like badass, I'm like caramel macchiato, dude.
Always.
Always.
Like,
prepping a bite
funny
burn. He's
ain't
like,
gonna change, dude. I need my Satan and caramel macchiato every day,
exactly.
dude.
Yeah.
Chance
Pretty
from
satanic drink, I guess.
yeah, it's pretty satanic. Yeah, it's super satanic. It's super evil drink.
Yeah,
I remember there's a story with Chance going on their bus or something, like taking his seat or something.
Oh,
and
no.
like he's just all like, and they all like surround him, like, you must get up, and he's like, oh, okay. Like, something crazy. I did something.
Actually, if you go back to the
much.
archaic episode with Jared and Chance, they tell the story.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. Yeah, I've heard they're very not difficult's the wrong word, demanding. I think like I saw them on that co-headliner with Cannibal Corpse a few years back. Like probably
We want only the black jelly beans.
Yes, exactly. No, I think close to a decade ago now. But the TM was a buddy of mine, and I asked him how it was going. He's like, I definitely work for these guys. It was, he was Dahlia's manager for a while, TM for a while. And he was like, you do your job with your buddies. He's like, no, I work for these guys. They fucking, put me to work. So, but that's why they've gotten as far as they have, I guess.
We know their, me and Casey know their road crew from Poland.
Oh shit.
Like, what's his fucking name?
Yeah. Shout out. Brovar and
Brovar and all those guys. Like they do a bunch of like they do Arch Enemy. They do other big bands too, but like they're fucking workers,
awesome.
dude. They're workers.
Yeah, they do work
so, like I can understand why they would think that, because those guys are just like, yep, well, like they run a tight ship. Like they would literally put a padlock on the Cryptopsy. The Behemoth guys, road crew did Cryptopsy's tour with us, and in Europe, and they would like padlock the alcohol after a while, because obviously, because I mean, there's people like me, and there was
because the Cali kids will all steal it.
Yeah, I mean, we were broke.
Represent.
Derek from played in Pantera for a while. God damn it.
From Cattle. He was in
from
Scour
Cattle
now. Yeah,
so he was in Unmerciful, and it was like James King and all those guys. We were like fucking just jacking their booze after, because there'd be like not that much, and we'd be broke, and they'd just be like, and then we'd load everything out, and they'd just watch us, and so we got a little like weird about it, and we just started drinking a couple more than we were supposed to, and then Brovar started padlocking it. Then one of the guys bought a fucking lock cutter, and then it turned to a big argument on the bus and all those things. But we were young. We were like 23. I was like 23, 22, and we ended up making up. It was all good, but Brovar runs a tight ship though. Like as far as like his crew and stuff like that, that's like they get shit done. They're just in and out. They're like pro. They've been pro for like 25 years, 30 years. Seriously. So like they're like, I understand why they'd be like, yeah, take care of this.
Dude, speaking of riders, whatever they call it, with the bass player in Narcotic Wasteland, like Tsunami, what's his name?
I forget his name.
But but anyways. He posted this thing about Kenji. Yeah, Kenji. And they played some show in Eureka, California, and the rider they brought like 80 tacos, dude. Like it's like
was it on their rider?
It's like a platter. Yeah, it's on the rider, dude. Like for the whole tour, they like a platter of just endless tacos, like 80 tacos, dude.
I mean,
that is like,
if there's 80 tacos, how many are you gonna eat?
I mean, God, you gotta have at least like 10.
I think I'm at the 10 mark.
Yeah, I'm at,
especially if you're on the road, dude, and you don't know the next time, and you don't want to eat gas station food. I think I might hit 10 and then just have diarrhea in the fucking gas station bathroom instead of.
Yeah, I'd say that's the over under. Yeah.
Joel's gonna go have diarrhea right now.
Yeah. Speak of the devil.
Thinking about it. No, but that amount of tacos would make me very tempted, dude. And after probably like getting hit with pizza all the time, dude, you're just
too much pizza,
bro.
Like, God, tacos, man. Yeah,
man. Tour is just eating like a fucking ninja turtle for 30 days straight.
Totally, yeah. Like I was telling my buddy the other night about the time Decrepit got. We went to McDonald's 3 times in one day on tour, and I was like, this is just horrible.
That is too
torturous,
much,
and no human should be subjected to that. But it'll be a funny story for the rest of my life that I went to McDonald's 3 for every meal in one day. And it was, I'm not going to say who was I mean, I could, but who cares? But there was a ringleader in that. Someone made that decision that was above my head. But
yeah,
by the end, I was like, okay, I'll get a salad and a yogurt. Like, I was like, I already ate like fucking
plumbing the depths of the McDonald's menu.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah, I was like, what else do these guys got? Like,
meatballs?
Where's the secret menu, dude? Where's like
what's a McDonald's salad like? Like, does it actually have like shit?
What do you think a McDonald's salad would be like, Anthony?
Like a Caesar salad type deal.
I mean,
like,
it's what you think.
Just
it's
mostly like lettuce and fucking weird dressing.
I recall it being like in a cup or it's like a tall cup or like a little.
Yeah,
it's like a bowl, but it's a tall cup. But I don't know. I don't remember, dude. It was.
That's wild.
That was like 30 years ago, so I don't remember. Like,
yeah. That's crazy though, dude. I mean, we did hit Taco Bell's quite often too.
Yeah. I think if I ever eat Subway again, it'll be too soon. I always try to eat healthy on the road.
Why do all Subways smell the same, dude?
Oh yeah, and it stays with you.
That's the weirdest thing.
Yeah, I'll have like acid flashbacks if I go into a Subway from like a gas station and like I smell Subway. It's like a Vietnam style flashback of being in Iowa or something and like on playing in front of 5 people on a Thursday.
A Subway sandwich like starts off really good, and then as you get to the end, you're just like, "What am I doing?" And then you're like, "There's like just nothing but regret towards the end," But in the beginning, if you're already eating a Subway sandwich, you're like so hungry that you're just in the beginning, you're like, "This is great." And then you're like, something's wrong by the end.
They put Kellogg's in it. You're just like, there's like crunch stuff in there that you just like, it's like, oh, it's got the crunch shit too, dude.
It's got fucking Frosted Flakes in it, dude.
I gotta crunch out, dude.
I mean, isn't it? It used to be like it used to have like yoga mat material in it. I think they had to change that. Yeah,
I heard about that. Yeah.
Like a decade ago, Subway bread
it's like a cake, right? It's like
something.
They couldn't call it bread.
That was also in yoga mats, and then you can't even call it bread in another country. It's just sugar.
I got the cinnamon toast crunch one. Which one did you get?
Dude, can I get the cinnamon toast crunch buffalo chicken with fucking?
That's the future, dude.
That's the future of death metal.
Yeah, it's like I want Fruity Pebbles in my fucking teriyaki chicken.
Like probably like animal food is like healthier than human food, like
Well, yeah, it doesn't taste like any. That's
actually
like,
Fruity Pebbles and teriyaki chicken might be kind of bomb, dude.
I don't want to find out these. I don't want to find out. It's like, what if it's amazing?
It's already sweet. You're just putting sweet crunchies in there, dude, and it might look cooler.
All right, so you're 19 and you join a couple bands.
What's going on, dude? What's up? How's it going?
Where were we at? Jesus Christ, that was
I don't know, man. Somewhere Subway Eat Fresh somewhere else. That's good. Yeah, dude. And then I jammed around in Sacramento, made some stuff I'm still proud of, some local band stuff that was fun back in the day. And I attribute a lot of what I was able to do to Gabe, actually, because Gabe, I've told him the story. I'll get drunk and tell him the story louder. I'll do that. Just reiterate over and over to him. But like Alter Beast needed a singer. And I had already moved to Portland, and Gabe goes, "What about Monte?" And yes, the Black Seeds of Vengeance. And
I literally was typing that in as he said
there you go. There you
Shout
go.
out to Ian getting quick on the trigger.
And then the guys were like, "Nah, Monty moved to Portland. He's got a corporate job. He doesn't want to fucking do this shit anymore." And Gabe just goes, "Just call him." And because he said that, and they called me, and I quit my job and joined Alter Beast. And they were like, "Hey, do you want to go tour with Suicide Silence and Black Dahlia Murder?" And I was just like, it was like fucking Santa. Was just fucking call me, dude. My job was kind of going down the tubes anyway. The contract I was on was falling apart. So it was like I would have had a job, but it would have been a lot lamer what I was going to be doing. So I said, fuck it, and went on that tour. I met my wife on that tour.
Wow,
and,
awesome.
Married too. Just put our daughter down. So that was 2014.
Yeah, dude.
And then,
so first, now I gotta hear that story, how you guys met. And then let's talk about that hood for a little bit.
Oh, shit. Okay. As you guys know, you have a lot of downtime in the van. And apologies to anyone who's, if you've heard me on a podcast, I may or may not have told this or what have you. But you got a lot of downtime in the van, and just looking through them internets, and mutual friend of ours, those tubes, a mutual friend of ours was hanging out with her, and they posted some pictures as girls are known to do, and I was just like flabbergasted by her. I was like, holy shit. And so then I proceeded to, and like, I got 8 hours on this drive left, so I then spent the next few hours like reconnecting with our mutual friend and pretending to be like, how you been? Oh, it's you.
I love the actual honesty in this. This is awesome.
Oh yeah, dude. And then after like, you know, I kind of primed the pump there for a while, and then I was like, oh, by the way, who's that fucking babe that you took the picture with? And she told me, she's like, oh, she lives in LA. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm playing LA in like 2 weeks. So I was like, I got 2 weeks to seal this deal. And you know, my wife will tell you, we both thought it was just going to be like a weekend of fun. Like I brought her out to the Santa Ana show, and then we played Knotfest the next day. So I was like, I'm like flexing, like I'm playing Slipknot.
Oh yeah, that's literally what I'm saying. So you already got that under as you're in your first couple of days of being physically around each other. You're playing these shows, and she's seeing it, dude. I'm not trying to take it onto me, but bringing my wife to it, bringing my wife, well, not my wife then, but just chick that I was talking to, now my wife, bringing her to an Odious practice, dude, that sealed the deal, bro.
Hell yeah, man.
Watching us do metal, dude, can bring the chicks in, dude. You just gotta get close enough to show them.
I just want to know, Monty, what was your like opening line? Like it was like, you know, like because it was a friend, so like you're like, hey, you know, Rachel.
Yeah, I slid into those DMs. No, I added her, I think, and then I can go get her and ask her. Actually, I remember what it was. I commented on some pictures, but she didn't respond until like she had posted some pictures of some books she was reading, and it was like some pretty decent books, and like I'd read them as well, and so I commented like with some things that kind of showcased that I knew the books and read them and kind of maybe made some insightful comments. And she said that was like, she was like, okay, I'll talk to this guy. He's read a book. He's not just some dipshit. And then she also, I think she, you know, cross-referenced with her friend, like, is this guy psycho? And I'd known her friend for years. We've been like high school buddies. And so it was like, oh no, he's harmless. He's a little weird, but he's harmless. Yeah, dude. I'm just, you know, bopped around, did Alter Beast for a while until that fell apart, and then filled in for some bands, and then kind of, you know, took my leave and not, you know, touring as much at all pretty much anymore. But then now me and Martin started Emberthrone during the pandemic. We started with Gabe because during the pandemic, Gabe was like, I don't think I'm going to tour full time after this.
Yeah.
And
so
you know,
funny.
Love you, Gabe. No,
as soon as he hit the ground running and never fucking stopped. Basically,
dude, there was a meme I saved in my phone from that time. Then I sent it to Gabe because it is Gabe. It's I'm sure you're all familiar with Lawrence from Office Space, the guy, the mullet that's next door.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'll tell you what I'll do, Peter.
Hell yeah.
There's the meme. Exactly. There's the meme of him looking serious, and he goes, "I'll tell you what I'll do, Peter. When this pandemic is over, 2 tours at the same time."
Put a wig on you right now, and you did that. Kind of like, I think you.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Shitting on, man.
And you can pull it off, man. Dude, that was really good. That's really good impression.
I'll tell you what I'll do, Peter. Anyway, yes, we started that. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. That's high praise, man. I love that guy. He's great. We started it, and so and Martin, funny enough, I've been dropping his name in Outlocks. I'm proud of the dude. He's one of my best friends in the world, and I love being a writing partner with him, and it's great. He just joined. Speaking of Screamo, he just joined Dance Gavin Dance full time, and their new video that they dropped last night, he's in the video, and he's like, his first full US tour, his first full US was opening for Falling in Reverse in arenas.
That's
Falling in Reverse is that one. It's
Mark's
basically like
band.
one guy, right?
Basically, yeah. He's got Mark Akubo in it now.
Yeah, Mark. But, Casey, you know Mark. We've
from Vale of
a lot of he's like in,
of course.
He's in a humongous band now.
He's in like a platinum, like Billboard number, like top 5 band. Falling in Reverse.
Oh, Falling in Reverse. I've heard of that band, but I'm sorry, I don't know their music.
I mean, they're whatever. It's not my thing, obviously. But
isn't that kind of like the same thing I was talking about, where it's kind of the front man's the main guy, the front face of the whole thing?
Yeah,
you're not
it's
wrong.
like kind of like a very
if it's extreme music if it's the extreme music in the mainstream, I think the front man or front woman is the focus, because that's how the mainstream looks at music in the first place, as the front person is the band.
Yeah, you make a good point. Yeah.
So
anyway, he's doing that. Yeah, huge tours. He's doing that, and they're leaving for a headliner doing large theaters. I'm super proud of him. So he just quit his job. He quit his day job of 11 years because he's going to be able to just play music full time and like pay his mortgage with it. Because
that's what's up, dude.
Yeah, dude. So I'm fucking proud of him, and so we're gonna keep doing Emberthrone, and you know, we've been him and I been making music together since my Sacramento days. So I love that dude. I'm super proud of him. So
hell yeah, dude.
Throw him a little shout out, because I always like to pepper him with some love if he's hearing this. I think he was on the show for the first EP, right? Did you guys interview him? Do you remember?
I'm sorry. So who is it again?
Martin Bianchini.
I think so.
I think him and Gabe were on.
And that's, I feel bad. I feel fucking bad, dude. I looked at the list of people we've had on the show. If you look at the list, it's fucking insane, dude. And it's pretty hard to remember everybody. Like I'm gonna even call myself out right now. Last show I went to, who I went with,
Martin Bianchini and Gabe Siebert.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No,
okay.
Dude,
yeah, he was amazing. He was a rad dude.
My template for every Instagram like cover image I put for every video, the template is of that Emberthrone episode, and I pull it up, and that's I have to like delete it's that picture every time, and so I see it every week.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so
I just googled like Cali Death Emberthrone. It's all dude. Fucking Monty's on right now. That's what I was saying. I was like, dude, he's on Cali Death podcast. I was like, Jesus.
I just wanted to say too, I saw Gabe like the other week, and I went to the show, the Atheist Decrepit show, and
nice.
A lot of hugs and high fives with Gabe and pictures and all kinds of good shit.
I miss that guy.
Gabe, dude, he's a wonderful person.
I live, Monty. I live 2 exits from him. I bought a house in Rockland. Yeah.
Oh damn, man. Okay.
Yeah. So, but I'm only up there like on the weekends still, because I'm working in the Bay and shit. But I want to hang out with Gabe. He's so close, dude. But he's
he's never home.
He's never home, and I'm barely home, But when eventually we're gonna cross paths, and I'd like to be hanging with Chris too. Chris Dan is up in Auburn, so it's just
I remember Chris Dan. Holy shit, yeah.
Chris Barnum,
restaurant, dude. It's insane.
Yeah, Chris Barnum. Yeah. His restaurant isn't. I worked with him at a sushi restaurant back in Auburn, dude. Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, it's small world.
He's doing Localis. He's in Sacramento. Yeah.
He's
Michelin star restaurant, dude.
Yeah, even at that sushi restaurant, he was like butting heads with the owner because he was just a way better chef and wanted to do like elevated stuff. And the fucking owner of that place was like goddamn troglodyte and did not know what he was doing. Like that guy fucked that guy. Like paid people in cash, did coke in the back. And that guy was
a classic restaurant owner.
I know, right?
Yeah, wore a lot of jorts. Yeah, fuck that guy.
What do you think about The Bear? Have you watched The Bear?
The Bear's gnarly, man. That's stressful as shit. That's like damn probably Chris's life.
Yeah, dude, I know.
What's The Bear?
Yeah. Oh, it's
you haven't seen The Bear? You should watch it. Dude.
Yeah, check it out. It's a killer restaurant drama.
Is it like reality or is it drama?
It's drama. Yeah.
Okay.
It's great. It's won a bunch of Emmys and shit. But no, Chris is the man. I'm super, super proud of that guy. I haven't seen him in a minute. He came to the Emberthrone show. He came into a show like a couple of years back, but I know he's got his family life and everything. But it's always great to cross paths with him again.
Totally, dude. Yeah, I just talked to him recently. I might be going into that restaurant pretty soon, but got to work some things out.
Yeah, like a second mortgage. I bet it's not cheap.
Well, no, it's not just that. It's also timing. But yeah, it's definitely not gonna be cheap. But that's
worth
the thing,
it,
dude. It's not. I'm not just going out to dinner, dude. I got to think of it like it's a whole experience. It's a performance in a way.
Yeah, I didn't know how fancy that was. I mean, he was like, he was telling me, he's like, oh my god. he was like telling all of his coworkers like Joel's coming from this band I used to be really into and blah blah, and like showing him like decrepit Nodia stuff like before I showed up, and I was like Googling like how do you do fine dining like before I was watching videos on it, like literally watching YouTube's, and like I was like I still tell that story all the time, like because it was so fancy. They're like they handed me these menus, so I was like, all right, I'll take a number 6 and a number 3, and the guy looked at me and was just like, all right, well, okay, and Chris came up. He's like, I gave you like the world travel special, so like that's like $300 extra I threw on there, and that was just for alcohol. So like each like meal, I mean, there was 12 different meals or 12 different
courses. Yeah,
and 12 different courses he brought, and like I was like, and they were like from different parts of the country, and like matched with like a wine or a cocktail or something, and I was like, by the end of it, I was like so full and hammered. I was like, Jesus, dude, like I remember like seeing like there was like an automatic gratuity of like a decent amount there, and I was like, dude, I gotta give this guy $200, and I walked out there just going like, I fucking just like dropped G on.
Who are these people who are drinking 9 drinks while eating though, dude? You know,
I know it was
they're all savages.
Even my wife was there at the time. Like I was gonna propose to my wife with my at the time my ring was like showed up. I got the alert that it showed up to my house the day before or the day we were there. So I was like, that was like the plan, and I kind of hinted at to him, and he like thought it was kind of maybe going on, but I didn't have the ring. So I was like, but it was like all these, you know, people that have a lot of money and they were quiet and stuff, and I was like, I don't want to do it here. Like, this is like, you know, everyone's like sitting just like doing the whole experience and stuff. I don't want to take over the moment because it would every course would be like, this comes from here, and I got inspired from it from here, and blah blah, and then like they just bring it all out, and I was like, this is the most insane like food
and I want to do it, dude. I mean, we all watch the fucking cooking shows all the time, and you're looking at all this crazy,
this high end
that looks like art and shit, and I'm just like, not only can we experience it, but it's a homie, and it's literally a Michelin star restaurant. Like we're going
got a second Michelin star last year. He was very close to getting 2, which there's only one other person I think in Sacramento that's got one.
Wow.
And he was going to go on 2 in Sacramento. So it's like literally legendary shit.
Well, if you think about it, it's like
amazing.
The cooking shows,
the artist mentality. He just repositioned his lens, you know, and actually went full force into it. Even though Dismal Laughs is killer shit, I'm just saying, like, if you were to compare, you know, each side of him, like that's where he fully flourished as an artist, and traveling the world and getting inspired by other artists in the world of, you know, culinary arts, dude.
Yeah, man,
I love that, bro.
That's technical.
He goes around the world, studies with other chefs, and then brings it back home and fucking does his own take on it, and then does that for like a month and a half, and then, you know,
pretty sick,
this, and then travels again and goes fucking, dude, it's wonderful. What a wonderful life, dude.
If you got good money and you can just do that, it'd be so fun to just eat. Like Ian was saying, like traveling and eating good food and stuff. Like I would love to do that.
But it's his
art tour and a death row
for those fucking trips, you know. It's like
he can write it off on his taxes, I imagine, because it is
it's a business expense, dude.
Oh yeah, like researching and stuff.
Damn, what a fucking loophole.
Sorry, Chris, we're airing out all your shit.
He found the hack. No one tell the IRS.
But I think he already aired out some other shit. I think his wine cellar is over $1 million in inventory. I think he said that on the show.
I have something to air out about him. His social security number is like 613.
Hey, no. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Chris, man.
Love you.
Miss you, buddy.
Hell yeah.
All right, so Monty, you're like 16 now, getting into music, and like
no. So we were at the pandemic.
Pandy Wendy.
That's where Emberthrone kind of bubbled up, and you guys did the first EP.
The first one.
What year did that one drop again?
It was 22, I think. 22.
I think you said that. My bad.
Yeah. No, you're good. And then it took us a minute to work on this next one, as it does, because we had to figure out who was drumming for it and do everything remotely and kind of lock down our workflow and everything, because everything we do remote. I mean, I tracked every vocal for it is right here.
that is the beauty of the internet.
It's
you don't
amazing.
have to be. I mean, we still love that in person feel. Like you were saying, your guitarist likes to be in studio, and I actually didn't really mention it, but it is like what gives a spice to an album versus just going by the grid, going by the books, passing through the internet. But it is still a way for people to collaborate and make something sick.
It helps. I mean, I think for the full length, we'll do it a new way where I'll send to them some, we'll work on the song skeletons and like rough drafts and first passes of like phrasing for all the lyrics. Then I'll probably like fly down there and then dial it in further, and work with them like organically and come up with ideas. We're probably going to add some more melodic stuff vocal wise to it, just to expand a little bit to the kind of the soundscapes, because our bass player is a really accomplished vocalist, and I really want to utilize his skills and find some kind of some cool more collaboration stuff on that. And then we'll sketch all of that out on like a talk track or just kind of some rough sketches, some demo stuff, scratch tracks, if you will, and then I'll finalize everything up here when I have time and really dial that in. But I think that's one thing missing vocally is the collective approach. The first album, I was pretty rusty. On my tones and techniques, and I listened back to it. Now it's kind of hard for me to listen to be honest. But this new one and our new song, "Filling the Blade," is out everywhere now. I was joking with Martin, our guitarist, about how right before it came out is usually the time where I hate whatever I've written. I hate it. I'm like, I hate this now. I've listened to it to death. I'm too close to it. I don't like it. I wish I could go back and change X, Y, and Z and retrack this, but it's like it's already in the pipeline for publishing. The label has it, yada yada. And this is like the first release that I'm at this point, and I like it, and I'm happy with it. And that's it's like good, I think I'm finally got to a point. It only took me I'm only 37, right? Where I'm like, I really feel like I nailed it, and I'm not saying that lightly. I'm not trying to be pretentious or
no, not at all.
Like, this is like the first one where I'm like, this is exactly what I wanted to do and how I wanted to sound. I'm really stoked on it. I think we've expanded a lot, structure wise, songwriting wise, vocally. Doing a completely different tones, branching out into more like kind of harsh melodic stuff, harsher pitch screaming stuff that kind of gives a little bit of a kind of a melodic thoroughfare, if you will. And then we want to expand on that on the next release as we continue to write. And I talking to Martin, who's rehearsing with Gavin Dance and learning all these songs, he's like, dude, I've never played this much guitar. I've never had to work this hard, because he's got to like learn 17 songs in like a month he had to do or something crazy like that. Of like, and there's it's not like tech death, but it ain't easy. It's definitely some fucking finger tap dancing. So anyway, that being said, if we bring Gabe back into the fold, if we bring Andrew back into the fold, one or the other, given how much Gabe is playing, given how Andrew is now back in the hot seat, killing it with All Shall Perish, I feel like this full length that we're starting to work on just now, I mean, fucking, the second EP isn't even out yet. I'm already talking about the full length down the line. I'm just excited for the trajectory of creativity of what we're doing on this, and how the first one is to this one to what we're going to be in the next one. It's just been fulfilling, and I'd like to get out there and do more stuff and rip some sicker gigs and build that up. But it's like we were starting from the bottom, man. We're starting from the very much square one. It's a saturated field out there to get people's attention and people's ears.
Definitely, dude.
Crawling back up that ladder again. Here we go.
And staying in their ears too. We're just talking about how you can get flooded over pretty quick by the amount of content that's thrown at everybody.
Seriously.
But also, you're one, not pretentious at all for saying what you had said, because it's totally natural. That, I mean, we all strive to have that satisfaction before a record comes out where we actually feel good enough to release it into the wild, and you can get close to that, and that's close enough to where it makes us keep coming back. And if I'm sorry if I feel like a broken record to people who listen to the show for a long time, but It really is those, those feelings of hating what we do before it comes out is what makes us come back and try and
strive for
edit
be
that
better.
and be a better version of what only us and our ego are fighting about inside our artistic side of our brains. And it's just an individual battle, because once you release it, it's not yours anymore, it's everybody's. So yeah, it's for us first always. And when you feel that it's not what you were wanting to do, then you hit the fucking books again, dude. You get training again and try and at least work on the things that you think weren't as good before, even the
next time you're up to bat, right?
Exactly. And then you get to, and hopefully you get to where you're at with this one, and that's sick, dude. And also, with the release schedules of shit now, it's like, of course you're already working on or thinking about the next one, because this one's probably been worked on for so long that you're over it and you want to do the next chapter of this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, man. We were one of the songs on this, we were playing on the shows we did for the first EP. So we had, the first EP was only 4 songs. We needed 5. And so we had another song we were working on. So we've been playing that one for years. I think we tweaked it, we updated it, and we made it better. That's going to be, ironically enough, the single that's coming out later, before the record comes. That's the second single we shot a whole video for, and there's a killer guest vocalist on it who's a show alumni, and I don't think my label would really care, but I don't think we're technically allowed to say who it is. But anyway,
right. Well, we'll see it soon. Maybe you'll tell us after we're off live. You can
sure
backstage.
But I'm stoked on it. He's an old buddy of mine, and he's an absolute monster of a vocalist and musician. He's in the video as well. We did this killer treatment. Really stoked on how that's coming out. So
nice.
That'll hit the ground running pretty soon here. But yeah, man, and life is good. Can't complain.
So being a fresh dad, is that change the way you're writing lyrics right now?
It's funny. I haven't really written anything since she was. I've written like little bits in here. I'll get I'll hear a turn of phrase like in a movie, or in a book. Stephen King has a ton of turn of phrases where I'm like, that's a good lyric.
Right.
So I'll take little ideas and I'll throw them away in a note, and just to kind of for a rainy day. But as far as sitting down and writing prose or writing out kind of what I usually do, just kind of writing from a an abstract or a overarching idea, I haven't really done that since she was born. I find that I want to recapitulate and kind of repivot on how what I draw from, for lyrics. And I don't, writing a song about how much you love your baby girl for a death metal record isn't necessarily the vibe.
No, but
I think that there's other stuff I can pull from. There's other stuff I can pull from where it's kind of the internal. I mean, I'll be honest, the internal, the Emberthrone lyrics are really dark. It's really personal. It's really personal. I don't I'm really bad at writing things that aren't personal. If I'm gonna be up there fucking hooting and hollering, I need them to be something that if it's some concept or some dark bullshit in my head that I need to kind of expose to, kind of neutralize, to kind of give that strength to weakness, that kind of anger to sadness or whatever, to kind of feel that empowerment out of the lyrics. So I think I want to try to rework on how to maybe write quote unquote fictional lyrics and do more stuff that's less personal. Because I've kind of, if I'm being honest with myself and everyone here, I've kind of think I've reached the end of, I can only say one thing. So I can only say the things I need to say, my own interpersonal bullshit and, kind of maladies, the things that are wrong with me mentally. I can only, you can only skin that cat so many ways. You know what I mean? I've said what I need to say. It's out there. I'm looking back through my lyrics. I'm like, okay, I'm making different points here and different allegories and metaphors, but I need something fresh. So I think, to answer your question in a very long-winded way, I think I want to try to use this as an opportunity to start writing more fictional, conceptual stuff instead of just personal airing of grievances.
And actually, with my question, I wasn't necessarily saying, oh, starting to write parental death metal lyrics. I basically was asking the question in the sense of like, being a fresh father, does it change your perspective enough to make you want to write a different way? And you kind of just,
I guess so. Yeah, I mean,
still did answer it.
Yeah. To an extent, yeah. I think just because, I still have the things that are wrong with me are still the things that are wrong with me, so to speak. But I think, having, she makes life better and she's a whole different kind of view of perspective of like importance and all that. And I could go down the whole rabbit hole on that. But to answer your question in a very short way, yes.
Because I mean, it is mostly a negative perspective that most death metal vocalists take with their lyrics. And I've actually found a way through metaphor to have a positive message in some odious mortem songs, and also talk about personal things through metaphor that are very personal to me. And I am making the statement through the song, but I'm saying it in a way that I am still hiding the details of the thing from the people who are exposed to the song. Although the message that I'm trying to get across still, it comes across, I'm not fully divulging the personal aspects of what I'm saying.
Got it. I think that's a good point. That's definitely an approach that I could definitely see myself exploring. Another thing that I've seen, like a good instance of something not too unlike what you're talking about, of like what comes to mind is like Thyarda's Murder, the lyric "Know Another," or that song "Know Another" with CJ on it, where he's like, it's something like they will know another, but like the big lyric for the breakdown is I'm not afraid to die, I'm afraid I'll live and have to watch you suffer. And that's like, fuck, that's hard.
Damn, like,
that's hard.
Like, that, yeah.
Like sad is the new heavy, right? Like fit for an Autopsy does that really well, of that like despair, that like
it's dripping, like Death Cab for Cutie, but death in death metal.
Right? Yeah, but like I remember reading that they did like a lyric video for that song, and I remember seeing that just being like, fucking Jesus.
I mean, you're a guy raised on Depeche Mode and stuff too. That's one of my favorite bands. Like as far as like hearing that kind of that stuff that just hits you in like a dark way, but it's not taking you down a dark path, but it's kind of like making a realization pop up in your brain. Yeah.
It resonates.
You're just like, oh, this relates to me, and I'm not the girl at the bar going like, oh, this song's about me, this song's for me, and it's not like that. But like interpreting people's lyrics a certain way has always been a fun thing for me, because like
I've always contemplated, it resonates. Yeah,
exactly. And I've always like, I always want to know what they're thinking, like why they wrote those lyrics and stuff when they get kind of deep and stuff. But at the same time, when I'm listening to it, like I'll start like, relating it to myself, and then relating it to my common day or whatever it's about. Like, and what they're going through like a heroin withdrawal, and I'm like, dude, and I'm all, work was hard. Work was super hard, dude. And they're like, heroin, dude. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, kind of, but like I kind of feel what you're saying, because you poetically versed it, where I'm like, all right, well, yeah, I can. My day
lyrics can be like poetry can totally. You're making me think why people love listening to lyrics so much is if you structure them a certain way, there's manufactured coincidences. We're looking for coincidences throughout the day, as little perk me up, and then you find out that there's this it's like horoscopes, like it's all written in a way to where you'll find a way to link it to your personal life at the moment, and you don't feel alone anymore. Somebody else is feeling the same thing. Even though
I changed my sign for a month for fun and just read every one. I was like, I'm a Scorpio for like a month, and just read them all. And I'm like, yeah, so that happens. That's crazy.
I should do. I should fuck with my wife's friends when they ask me.
Yeah, dude.
Just like tell them like tell every one of her friends
with chicks in astrology, dude. It's so crazy.
Just tell them a different sign. Just tell them like Just like tell one's like I'm a Scorpio, it's like I'm a Taurus. Looks like a Leo. it's like drop it, and they're like, of course he did that. He's a Leo. It's like he's not a Leo. Like what the fuck are you talking about?
I think my wife even said at one point, like, "Oh, you're a Scorpio. I'm a Cancer crab. We both have claws," and I'm just like, "What the fuck?"
Well, there is a link there, and in my brain, I'm like, there is a way to like logically explain it, and the best way I've ever like doing my limited research would be the time of year that you were born and the time of year your birthday is. So like if your birthday revolves around the summer or something, like you kind of have a different vibe than someone that has a birthday around the winter, or like it's like maybe they're more, or maybe close to a holiday or something that like affects your the way that you celebrate things because you're a Christmas baby.
You were incubated during a different weather period. Which
because I'm like the fact that like we don't know where the fuck this orb came from that we're all hanging out on, trying to make up like stories about it, and we're like, no, dude, it's the moon that's like negotiating the reason why. And also too, if you there is like coincidences like serial killers. I saw one the other day that was like most serial killers were like 3 different signs. Like the most big serial killers were all 3 different signs, and I was whoa. And I was like, all right, well, you got my attention.
Yeah.
So we born in the winter.
Broad strokes of it. Yeah,
and I mean
like that.
The moon and menstruation. That's a weird one that trips me out too.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? I can't even explain it. Don't even.
But the whole like I'm in this rising, this like this like the fucking 9 different like variables of whatever.
9 different flavors of Gatorade.
I'm a Skittle in the house of Skittles.
I mean that it is filed in the same category as fortune cookies to me. Like
I think it's just dumb people trying to make sense of a very chaotic
randomness.
world.
Yeah, exactly.
Give them control.
Yeah.
And God bless them, fucking heck, who cares?
Oh, totally, dude. That's my whole thing too, is like whatever makes you feel better about your everyday life and makes you a better person to the people around you. I don't give a fuck.
I don't want to shoot you down. Like just have those opinions. It's fine. It makes you happy. Like you're not being mean to me. That's cool.
Dude. Yeah. You like a Starman and a crab constellation. I like riffs and a joint, dude. I mean, hey, let live, brother.
It's like make this riff. Make what fucking astrological sign is this riff, dude? Then we'll start talking.
Well, I guarantee there's a band out there that literally makes riffs based on the distances between certain stars and constellations. Come on, man.
Yeah.
And if they haven't, we just fucking gave away the next idea to be the first wave of the second wave of the third wave, dude.
The next, maybe the big death metal band that needs to pop out of the underground needs to be astrologically based.
Ooh, they're called Sleep Token. Yeah, they've already done it.
Actually, I'm listening to the new Sleep Token because it got released 10 minutes ago, and I'm listening to it.
Oh, it did. No shit.
I'm a dork with it, dude. It's heroin to me.
Are you a dork enough to know the meaning behind the band's name, Sleep Token?
Well, it's not been like it's like the God Sleep or whatever, and like, bro, it has gone so deep when you go into that stuff. It's like, and he's just a dork. The guy that's not named is a dork from.
Is a prog calling you guys Sleep Dorkins?
No, he's a prog metal dork, producer, amazing pianist and stuff from I forget London or I forget, but he used to like offer lessons and he was like, I'm all about like periphery and all this. He's like, he was like he's all about like prog stuff, and then he came up with this idea, and he honestly, I feel like the dude doesn't want to be like known who he is, and people have done the research because you can just fucking Google shit now.
Yeah,
and people are like yelling his name out, and he's getting all like chapped by it, and he's writing songs about it now. But like,
I honestly about how people are trying to figure out his identity.
yeah, because like it's like a thing in their community. It's like we all know we can find out. Like it's like back in Slipknot days,
suspension of disbelief,
and Slipknot days, you didn't know, so like you had no
part of the
opportunity
allure
to find it. Yeah, exactly. Now it's like I could find out your grandmother's social security number if I put enough time into it. You know what I mean? I can get that shit. I can try to open a credit card with it. Like it's so easy now with the day of information is so open. It's like it's ridiculous now. So like I think them trying to do it now is like kind of like it's kind of like showing respect that you don't do it now. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
So
that's interesting.
So it's kind of cool. I mean, as far as they're very talented. They're going to be the biggest band. It got released 20 minutes ago, and it's gonna, it's gonna hit number one, like American number one. It's gonna hit all the. It already beat like Selena Gomez or whatever when she tried to drop a thing. It's like I remember hearing the band like 2 or 3 years ago and going like, this is gonna be the biggest thing for sure. This is not even close. This is gonna be the big and just their rise that was so quick. I actually was just messaging Ian about it, like listening to it now because he's a dork with like me. But
you and Ian should start a street team called the Sleep Brokens. Dude.
Street team? Is there still street teams?
Instead of the sleep token, you're the sleep token street brokens, dude.
There you go. At the end of all this, we just find out you gotta like a Elden Ring boss or something. Like what?
But now if you're like into it like me, then you gotta hold strong because right now, like all of like it's gonna be old school. Like that shit sucks, dude.
Oh yeah, you're totally fighting upstream right now, dude.
No, it's actually really good. I really respect it. Like I'm like 19 again. I have to be like, nope.
I don't have a horse in the race, dude. So I just love watching it.
He's got a pot of coffee brewed to fight the Reddit old held heads for the next 6 hours.
I've enjoyed their music videos where it's just like
there's not really. Oh, there's a couple music videos, yeah.
Well, maybe they're fan made then, but it's like pretty cool artwork and shit that they do.
They're just, I mean, that's just like the mesh of like 7 different genres of music into one, and they made it kind of smooth. I'm like, all right,
it's impressive. It's impressive. It hasn't drawn me in yet. I got a buddy who's super into it, and
just certain people.
It's cool.
Like emotional Depeche Mode people like me. That's what I'm saying. Like it's like emotional, like hearing a thing where it's like, damn. But now it's like so popular. I have to kind of like overcome that for this new album and listen to it like as a. Like I remember hearing Green Day when they were very in like 5th grade when they were playing Berkeley and stuff all the time, and like hearing stuff and being like, damn, this it's pretty catchy. Like #1 band in like the world and you're like, well, kind of they suck, dude. I don't know. I like them.
The other people. What you got to do is listen to it as the Joel that first came across it and fell in love with it.
But my brain takes the masses into account. And a lot of people's brains do this. It's not even. It's like once a band. Yeah, it's like once you found a band that was like, they weren't that big and then they explode, you're like, well, you do want to do the grandpa thing or the guy at the music store thing. Like, I knew Eddie Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen actually didn't use a 5150. He used a Marshall.
You're standing right next to the new album.
He actually had Marshall 900s under his stage, and he didn't use because he told me. It's one of those guys. I'm going to become one of those guys.
We all become that guy. Dude.
Yeah, and I
all do. We all do.
And I always know that you would always hold your ground no matter what. You've probably gone through several of these. We've all gone. I held my ground against you guys so many times on bands, dude. So I know what it feels like. And you just you gotta fight the fucking crowd that's working against you and be like, no, dude, this is my shit. Leave me alone.
Death metal was so judgmental back in the day. It was so like,
yeah,
it was like, oh, you listen to
poser
that
shit, real shit.
Poser. Yeah. We called a poser. It's like, well. Yeah, they have cool riffs, but I don't want to be a poser, so I'm not going to listen to that anymore. Like you would just totally shift your whole like thing that you're into. Like, well, I want to be cool.
I knew where to not wear my Norma Jean T-shirt.
Exactly. I'd be listening to Human Abstract, and these guys would give me shit on the fucking clean vocals, and I'm like, no, dude, listen to the shred, dude.
Oh, we used to give him shit on the. We talked about this many times. He had on his iPod. We were all sitting waiting for him to go get like I don't know, you're going inside of a store or something, and then we pulled up his iPod. He's like, he's got Kill Switch Engage, idiot. And then I got into Kill Switch Engage at the age of 36. And I was like, this thing is sick.
So sick, dude. Those first records, man. Hell yeah.
So sick,
dude.
Oh, dudes, I hate to kill the party, but I gotta get some water.
You got
bed.
All motherfucking good, dude.
Sweet.
I had a blast tonight, dude. We definitely need to do this again.
You're a very intelligent man, Monty, and I've heard your name along the scene for a long time, and very cool to actually talk to you. You're kind of like a mythological character, because I know, like, the guys from Alter Beast and stuff, and you've just been crushing it in the Sacramento scene. When I was there, I hyped the Sacramento scene as far as like bands coming out, and like it's a very cool metal scene. So I was very impressed when I moved there, and good to finally meet you, man.
Likewise, and obviously it goes without saying, I love your guys' tunes throughout the years. It's fucking awesome to finally be on the show. I think last time I had like a last minute thing. I had to bail. It was going to be like me and Gabe or something. I got Martin to lock in for me, but he's Martin, so I'm sure he was going off on tangents. He's hilarious.
He was awesome. I remember really being down with him. Yeah. Totally.
Sweet. But yeah, man. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Appreciate you guys, pushing the new EP out July 4th. Cursive by Emberthrone.
July 4th. That's an easy date to remember, huh?
And then newest single, Doling the Knife, you can listen to now on all your platforms.
On everything. I hear they're actually going to have a countrywide fireworks display for the release of Cursive.
That's fucking
on July 4th.
What time do you have to go outside in the country?
I think it's like 9 p.m. ish.
9 p.m.
Go
July
4th, dude. Go outside. You'll probably see some fireworks. Embers for Emberthrone. PR, dude. We fucking threaded the needle, man.
Definitely fucking
Work
blew
smarter,
that
not
whole
harder.
advance, dude. You guys blew that whole advance, no doubt, dude.
Flying the whole United States at 9 p.m., dude.
Out now. You know we're doing some kind of promo video of me and like American flag boxers.
You better be, dude.
It's out. It's out.
You got it.
Listen to it for 30 seconds and then probably listen to a Lorna Shore song or something.
Or Sleep Token.
No, I think they'll stick with it, dude. After the new single, I'm sure they're definitely going to be fucking
blown away by you guys.
Yeah,
I remember coming to me,
man.
quick story on the way to like be on the last podcast with Emberthrone. I was like, let me just type it in, listen to it, and was blown away. So I was like,
awesome,
whoa,
thank you.
all right. Well, I didn't know it was
gotta
this.
pay attention.
Sometimes there's like, back in the day, there'd be bands like, yeah, we want to be on there, and be like, all right, well, but we'll do it, and like, it's good, but you guys actually were like a mind, like this band is legit. This is like an actual legit band. Honestly, it's like
coming from you guys, that means a lot. I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, honestly,
and congrats on being a dad and having a family and growing your family, dude.
I got 4 months, and I'm gonna be a dad for the
next time I'm in Portland, dude. We're gonna be hanging, dude.
Man. Yeah, holler at me. Yeah, I'll holler at you guys next time I'm down there.
Dude, like I said, I got family up there. We love to come up and visit, dude, and I'll make sure to go grab a drink with you, dude.
Let's make it happen, man.
Right on, dude. Well, battleforgecoffee.com, generatorrehearsalstudios.com. Have a blast till the next time you see us.com, and we love you guys.
Be good to each other. Fuck yeah.
Bye.